Chapter 562, The Heart Supreme. Chapter 562, The Heart Supreme. Guehu, what makes an expert great? Grand Elder asked Gue, who pondered for a while before his eyes flashed with bloodthirst, looking down on the world, with no one to match him. Weak. Grand Elder snorted. Experience is the father of wisdom. The same applies to experts. The higher one's cultivation, the closer he touches upon the world's values, until he reaches the heart supreme, standing in perfect harmony with it. But don't think for a second that such a man is a pushover. They keep to themselves most of the time, and when they act, the whole world shudders, calamity strikes, and death spreads. What is perceived as a weakness is in fact hidden inside their hearts. A single intent can cower the living. This is what a true expert is. Gue, who looked hard at Grand Elder. Perplexed Grand Elder continued, despite his confusion. What did you think of the kid before you fought? Gue, who sighed and shook his head. Yes, he hid his sharpness, hiding the scope of his heart. While you have always been on a murderous rampage, hardly controlling your power. This simple point defines the gap between you. Grand Elder sighed, pointing at his heart. The heart, in plain terms, means one's window into the world's truth, the Tao. To you it might not mean much now, but the farther you go, the more you'll put a price on it. Every breakthrough comes with a fundamental change. Radiant stages, discerning field. Ethereal stages, soul form, are prime examples. But do you know how these skills came to be? Gue, who shook his head, Grand Elder replied, from one's insights. As you have never experienced it, you have never grasped the meaning of self-discipline. Or you'd have agreed with me that the heart is the root of all power, be it yuan qi, spiritual energy, or soul. When two experts have the same cultivation, the difference in their insights sets them worlds apart. The farther you go, the more obvious it becomes. It said one could bring about an apocalypse just with intent alone. It don't matter what yuan qi or soul one has. Gue, whose heart shuddered by cultivating all this time. The fiendish aura around him remained, but that was due to the neglect of heart. He might have had a quick rise, but in the long run it would hardly be of any help, treading a path for the weak. Master, does that mean the elders and venerables have a high mentality? Gue, who asked Grand Elder, sighed. The demonic path is focused on selfishness, with few and far in between able to curb their desires and temper the demons within to gain insight into the demonic path, even among elites and venerables. But this path will only stray them farther from the true experts. Do you recall how Venerable sure got hurt when going after the kid when he bumped into High Venerable? Ha ha ha, they're both in the ethereal stage. Yet one strike from High Venerable can kill him? Why? Because of the heart. High Venerable puts a price on understanding the world, and that makes him the strongest in the sect. It is the sole reason he got out of the labor office and became our best expert. Rumor has it that High Venerable cultivated to radiant stage in just 100 years, despite his poor talent. Yet now no one can reach him, all because of his insights into Tao. It makes one wonder, maybe he'd have gone beyond the ethereal stage with just a little bit better talent. A true pity. Grand Elder lamented, but Gue, who was speechless. Nothing could have prepared him for how important one's heart was. It could even turn a simple man into the strongest expert, while he fell utterly short. And the farther he went, it only exacerbated the difference, Grand Elder said. Gue, I hoped for you to become an elite and fight in the Double Dragon Gathering. But your future is of greater importance. Curb your desires and focus on the heart. Master. Gue, whose heart jumped. But isn't it too late? Ha ha ha, it's never too late. Grand Elder laughed. Unlike cultivation, tempering your heart can be done any time. Some even waste half their lives on one insight. Look at Impermanence 5. Aren't they the prime example of following High Venerable's footsteps? Their souls form a rarely seen domain, but with a frail heart it would be weak. The sole reason for their strength, renowned through the Western lands, is their hearts, just below High Venerable. Guehu's eyes shook and he nodded, but then he hesitated. Master! Just what is that kid's level then? Much higher than mine. Grand Elder sighed. He is a rarity. Not only his power is supreme, but so is his heart. The simple way he struck gave me the same feeling High Venerable did. Say what? Guehu was stunned. Zhuo Fan not only was stronger, but had a heart on the same level as High Venerable Grand Elder, was wistful. Guehu, sect leader, has brought in an exceptional expert. Not one of the disciples can hold a candle to him. Please keep this in mind the next time you see him, and show restraint. Sect leader must have brought him to deal with us elders and venerables. Sigh, sect leader is finally on the move. Guehu's heart was a mess to a fan. Just a profound heaven disciple, yet was at the rank of elders and venerables. I see it now. Why, he never cared about me when attacking. I am nothing. Guehu shook his head in bitterness. He had never been ignored by his opponents, never suffered such a setback in his life moving on. Zhuo Fan brought his new pupils to the array in the cemetery, and he just stood there carefree then. Kuei Lang and Yu Ling popped before him with a bow. Steward Zhuo, it's finished. Good, let's begin. Zhuo Fan gestured them to the side and made a sign as he chanted. May the blood tide swallow the world. May disaster envelop the universe. Zhuo Fan extended a finger hum. The others watched as a shimmering door appeared, letting out wails and screams like no other as it opened. Quaking tensed up. Master, shall I go in? You're in the mood for joking? Why else did your dad and Yu Ling bring the remaining corpses over, and I have set up the blood slaughter array? It's for you and blood annihilation training. Now will you shy away after all we've done for you? Zhuo Fan retorted. Kuei Gang gulped, the shrieks grating on his nerves. Master, isn't it dangerous? How else are you supposed to cultivate? How else do you think you ever gained 3 layers so fast? She jumped right in, and yet you can't even compare to a girl. Zhuo Fan snickered. You ever tugged his sleeve. Master, you pushed me. Zhuo Fan's face twitched, glaring back. Keep your nonsense to yourself. Are you trying to make me look bad? Shrinking back. Yue fell silent, and Kuei Gang chuckled inside then. Kuei Lang appeared, hoisted him by the collar, and threw him in. You call yourself a man without going through a bit of danger? Is this my son, cowering before a bit of pain? Ah, Dad, you're killing me. Howls came from the blood slaughter array. Kuei Lang cast Zhuo Fan a worried look. After all, Zhuo Fan shrugged. Don't look at me. You pushed them onto me. This is my teaching style, pushing the disciples to the brink of death. I've set up this array based on his peak strength. All he has to do to survive is advance or die. Die. Kuei Lang was bug-eyed. Zhuo Fan nodded. Yep, do you regret it? Well, tough luck. It's too late now. If my disciples can't take it, they'd just have to lie down forever. Kuei Lang was panicking now. He thought it was just a bit of pain when in fact it was a matter of life and death. Zhuo Fan is doing things to the extreme even when it comes to his disciples. Zhuo Fan made another sign, and another door appeared with a rumble. It revealed endless mist with no preamble. He threw Yue and Yu Ling froze, and the next thing she heard was her sister's cries, Stewarda. Yu Ling, tense. Zhuo Fan said coldly, just a bewildering array. It's good for the heart. Earlier, I only gave her a crash course, but as my disciples, I need to think of their future and have their hearts in mind. Every 2 hours, her entire life will flash before her eyes, all the baggage included. She'll only get out when she understands it. Yu Ling nodded. Next, hearing Yueris laughter 1 second, then crying the next. She has had a rough life. Chapter 563. Reopening of the Inner Sect Competition. Chapter 563. Reopening of the Inner Sect Competition. Months fell off the calendar, and the time for the Inner Sect Competition was nigh. Again, the oldies were back in their designated seats, looking over the designated stage, with Xiaoa sitting in his designated throne, stewing in the same old boredom, seeing nothing had changed the same disciples. We just like before, with one exception. 2 disciples were missing, who Mayer got the short end of the stick, making her an obvious absentee. Yet what raised eyebrows was Gui Hu. There was no sight of him bang. The 5th match in the 3rd ring goes to Kuei Lang. The 4th match in 6th ring goes to Yu Ling. The 6th match in the 2nd ring goes to Lu Su. From within the sounds of punching, the judge chimed in with the results. Venerable Sure held his beard, eyeing Grand Elder. What's up with him? Why isn't Gui Hu here? Is he giving up on his spot? Grand Elder had never been calmer. Even Xia Bua grew suspicious of his attitude. Did Zhuo Fan scare him too much last time and he held his disciple back? While the rest were even more suspicious. With Gui Hu being the main seed to become elite, why the hell would Grand Elder suddenly hold him back? Despite all the suspicions going around, the competition ended and the elite spots were taken. Besides the obvious 3 seen last time, the other 2 were just average disciples. In the 2nd layer of Radiant Stage, Xia Wuyue's mood sank. Humph, this is even worse than last time. Venerable Sure remained silent with a mocking grin. Who told you to, but in last time? Now you have 1 less elite candidate. You got what you deserved, sect leader. The other oldies lamented as well. Those 2 softies were no elite material, but what choice did they have? It wasn't like they made Gui Hu brutalize every disciple he met last time and left them with crumbs in this one. The 2 were so weak. Even together they couldn't harm Kuei Lang, sect leader. The 5 elites have been decided. Venerable Sure smiled. Xia Wuyue clenched his fists and waited. A loud voice came right on cue. Wait, I want a challenge. A tall and sturdy youth flew in, paying his respects. Sect leader, I, Kuei Gang, am an outer sect disciple requesting a challenge. Xia Wuyue nodded after a long look. His mood turned for the better. Ha ha ha, this is the greatest attraction of the inner sect competition. Venerable Sure was seething again. Sect leader. Yep. Venerable Sure gave back a taunting eyebrow. Going above your station is commendable, Kuei Gang, although you'll be walking between life and death. Sect leader, it's because I do not care about the danger that I must challenge. Kuei Gang bowed with confidence. Kuei Lang nodded in pride with his son being in the Radiant Stage now. Meant he would have an easier time than Yuer, who was only at peak profound Heaven Stage at the time of her challenge. As for the gap in strength, Steward Zhuo made up for it in spades, and Trinket Xia Wuyue praised. Zhuo Fan did it again, bringing forth another expert in 3 months, and said, Kuei Gang, who is your target? I want to challenge senior brother Lu Su. Kuei Gang cupped his hands, his eyes fixed on his target. Lu Su mocked. A fresh Radiant Stage pup wants to take me on? Humph! Do you think I'm Humayer and would fall like nothing? 5 layers difference isn't just for show, especially now that I've come prepared. Lu Su's hand shone brightly and a scarlet brush appeared. His body did the same, and a spiritual armor outfitted him. The elders and venerables cried out. 8th grade demonic treasure, heaven leading brush, and 7th grade demonic treasure, flowing light cloud armor. Xia Wuyue's brow shook, eyeing Venerable Sure. You went all out, I see, even giving him your prized possessions. Venerable Sure chuckled. Sect leader, you're too kind. What can one do when the competition has devolved into a test of wealth and not skill? Even with my meager coffers, I at least have enough to give my disciple a head start. Xia Wuyue squinted and turned to Kuei Gang with Lu Su geared up. His power was through the roof. If Kuei Gang just copied Yuer and took out the 3 baubles from last time, he'd still come up short. It's cut and dry. Kuei Lang frowned with worry for once. He didn't think for a second that Venerable Sure would dump demonic treasures on his disciple, and wondered if Zhuo Fan's plan for this challenge would succeed, while Kuei Gang was at ease, his eyes serious. Nice items for offense and defense. I'll just have to give it my all then. Kuei Gang held a vial, and the thick, intoxicating smell spread. Many oldies cried, 9th grade pill! Savage blood pill! Since I train in blood annihilation technique, the savage blood pill can boost my blood flow dozens of times. Even in the 1st layer, this pill alone will give me the power of a 3rd layer. Kuei Gang swallowed it. A bloody aura surrounded him and only increased as time went on. The stench of blood gave a nauseating feeling. Lu Su was outraged. Rotten punk, do you have a death wish? Pushing your blood to flow so fast will end with you blowing up. Why? Thank you for your concern. But this time will be different, since I took the 10th grade pill, heaven-reaching pill beforehand. Kuei Gang grinned as his body shuddered. The elders and venerables were filled with envy. A heaven-reaching pill. We didn't get one, yet a snot-nosed brat got to enjoy such blessings. Lu Su felt, to his shock, how the gap was bridged inch by inch. All that remained between them were 2 layers, but his confidence resurged. Placed on the demonic treasures, short-lived as it was, courtesy of Kuei Gang's next ace, 5 glittering and equally blinding lights as the light ebbed. Everyone stared slack-jawed, their eyes popping out. Kuei Gang was armored to the teeth in 4 9th grade demonic treasures, in conformity to his style, in fact, exuding a bloody glow. 9th grade demonic treasure, blood shadow cloud striders. Kuei Gang showed off the new shoes with a grin. They were practically made for my cultivation method. Even senior brother Lu Su will have trouble tracking my movements. Ha ha ha. Let's not forget about the vaulting blood demon armor. And blood sea banner. World-piercing claw. The motif for Kuei Gang's set was that of skulls. His right arm held the bloody banner, his left the red claw. All demonic treasures of great power. Lu Su's mind left him. Venerable Shurs got stuck, Xia Wuyuez bogged down, and the oldies had none to speak of. The whole of Demon Scheming Sect was watching as their minds flew away. Chapter 564. Another Luo Clan. Chapter 564. Another Luo Clan. For crying out loud, are all outer disciples moneybags now, coming to throw their wealth around in the inner sect? That Missy was bad enough. Now this kid's showing off his bling too? Then again, old guys like us don't have anything to show. Don't you see, Venerable Shur had to dig his coffers to barely do it, yet still failed. The inner sect competition should be a test of skills and knowledge, not to strut in with 1 more gold chain. How vulgar, how malignant. By the way, child, mind letting one of these bags of bones take you in? And the trinkets, of course. All oldies looked on with bloodshot eyes at the glittering Kuei Gang and smacked their lips. Venerable Shur felt like cursing. Did sect leader gear these challengers? This wealth is too much even for him. Even if some outer disciples comes geared, it will be at most like last time. But to think there's someone who can top her. Sect leader, aren't your coffers too deep? Who among us can take out 4 9th grade demonic treasures? And freaking in tune with the wielder at that. He has to have taken it from the sect. Xia Wuyue was glum. Venerable Shur was suspicious. Talk, sect leader, are you corrupted? Xia Wuyue felt that his look earned him at least a couple of slaps. I'm the sect leader here, giving my all for the sect, and you accuse me of embezzling? When in fact it's you, old guys, trying to scheme the sect of resources in the most legit manner. Yet you come question me. Get lost. But at the sight of those dashing demonic treasures, he fell silent. Even he'd come to the same conclusion if he were in their shoes. Where else would an outer disciple get all this stuff? When not even a sect leader could take out so many Zhuofan, what the hell did you do the last 2 years to get so rich? You're making me envious of you. No wonder High Venerable came up with that plan. Humph. Only in moneybags like you can pull this off. Xia Wuyue smiled and sighed, still envious of Zhuofan. Just some secular steward, and yet wealthier than a sect leader. Kuei Lang was shuddering with excitement and was on the verge of tears. That's why the 4 scheming demons stick with Steward Zhuo, even back in the sect. He's too rich, throwing out 4 9th grade demonic treasures like nothing. No one in the sect can top him. Not even elites get such treatment. Getting him as master is the best thing that could happen to anyone. You'd get tons of resources and heaps of treasures and pills. Being elite? That's for the poor. Kuei Lang and Yu Ling looked excited at the kids being under Zhuofan. Senior brother Lu Su, your move. Kuei Gang grinned, raising the blood sea banner, and the sky took a bloody hue, with the air taking a heavy scent. While the world-piercing claw on his left arm left 5 bloody trails in the air as it tore the space staring at the 4 demonic treasures, Lu Su looked at his own too, and his face twitched, finding himself lacking by a mile. Senior brother Lu Su, by your leave. Kuei Gang taunted. Lu Su's lips shook, his eyes went red, and he snapped. By your sister. God damn it, pushover. How the hell am I supposed to fight with you all geared up? I freaking quit. I'm out. Crack. Lu Su threw away his 8th grade demonic treasure like trash and stomped away in anger. Venerable Sure was about to call him back, but no words came out. What's the point when it's obvious there is no chance of winning? Glancing at the brush on the ring, Venerable Sure had a bitter smile. I scraped the bottom of the barrel to get it, yet it looks so dull now. Venerable Sure shook his head and flicked his hand for the brush to come to him. He mocked. Sex leader's wealth is beyond measure. You're truly our leader in name and in reality. Don't look at me. I've got nothing to do with this. Xia Weiwei squinted in anger, then said to Kuei Gang, since Lu Su has abstained, the win goes to Kuei Gang, and so does the elite spot. You may now choose an elder or venerable as a master and become an elite. Kid, over here. No. Pick me, I'm totally devoted to cultivating. The same thing happened to her 3 months ago, and this was just a repeat performance. Every elder and venerable outdid themselves in trying to get the gaudy disciple. But Kuei Gang had already made his decision, ignoring the squabbling fools and bowing. Sect leader, I already have a master in the labor office. Please send me there, as well, to stay by his side. A laborer takes on outer disciples. Everyone was speechless, looking at each other with dumb looks. Is that guy worthy? Xia Weiwei smiled and nodded. All right, since you have such a filial heart, then I shall let you go to your master. And please tell your dear master that these items are quite nice, and ask him to make me a set as well. Xia Weiwei got up and swaggered off to his hall, but his words only stoked the flames as the oldies and the disciples around were bug-eyed. What the hell? A laborer gave all these trinkets to an outer disciple. And even the sect leader asked for some, not ordered it. That shows his respect. What kind of monster is hiding in the lowest rung of our sect? And why haven't we heard of him? Venerable Sure's eyes widened, while Grand Elder was calm, having seen it coming. The 2 outer disciple challengers all went back to the labor office. That place reeked of something for sure. Sect leader hid his man in such a low-key area to develop. So why expose him now? Has everything been set in motion? Grand Elder watched Sect Leader leave with a frown. Venerable Sure pondered. Sect Leader, about the elite spots. Defeated again and again by mere outer disciples, and you think they are worthy to become our elites? Xia Weiwei mocked. Venerable Sure frowned. Does that mean the competition is postponed again? Postponed? Xia Weiwei stated. Do you think they can achieve some great enlightenment in a few months? No, I think the inner sect has lost its rights to be nurtured. Venerable Sure gripped his beard in shock. You mean to tell me the outer sect is more suited to be nurtured? Venerable Sure had suspicions. Now Xia Weiwei was gone, and left this old man with a headache about his real plan. Kuei Gang strutted off among the people's glares, showing off his bling as he left. While the oldies had greed in their eyes, the disciples were envious and longing to be in his shoes. You're telling me that punk Xia Weiwei had you give me a message in front of everyone? Back at the cemetery, Zhuofan asked Kuei Gang. The kid nodded. Yes, master, sect leader did tell me. And probed. Master, why did it sound like sect leader is so close to you? No matter how close we are, that doesn't mean he had to make it public. Zhuofan muttered. I just had to do it once or twice more, and I'd get the perfect excuse to tidy up the inner sect. But he announced my existence, So now I've got the attention of all those elders and venerables. But why? That's exactly why. A voice came from behind Joa Fan. Didn't you set up a Luo clan outside? Then I ask you to raise another Luo clan here in the labor office. Chapter 565, Elite Labor Office. Chapter 565, Elite Labor Office. Whoosh! A gray shadow appeared and Kuei gang bowed at once. Greetings, sect leader! He didn't see any features, but knew his voice. Moreover, he was stunned that the sect leader would come in person to the labor office to see his master. That's why Dad always told me that when Master came to the labor office, he had a huge backing. Sect leader is that backing. How fortunate that Father never fought him, or Master would have killed him with his strength alone. Kuei gang eased a breath, oblivious that his old man did challenge Joa Fan while he was out cold, only to be smacked back to his place, though his dad was too ashamed to admit this. Another Luo clan? Joa Fan asked as if Siawiwa was his equal, shivering inside. Kuei gang sighed. Master is godlike. He doesn't fear even the sect leader, though he also saw how close the two were. Siawiwa was helpless. This brat is a maverick, never giving a hoot about rules. But since I need him, I'll wait until the dust settles and give him a piece of my mind then. Though he wasn't about to expose this situation to anyone, or no one would take him seriously, so Siawiwa bottled up all that annoyance and glared at Kuei gang. Leave us. We have things to discuss. Yes, sir. Kuei gang bowed and darted away in a jiffy. Hearing his cold tone, Siawiwa said, I want you to raise another pillar in the labor office, just like the inner sect and the elites are, to such an extent that those disciples will choose this place and leave those old guys hanging. Why? With just 2 more challenges, I will make the inner sect look useless and you can retake your authority. The cost to establish a new inner sect in the labor office is too big. Siawiwa smiled. Those old-timers are rooted in the inner sect. No matter how I change it, it won't amount to anything. It might buy us time for when the Double Dragon gathering comes, but in the long run, it will still degenerate. While the labor office is a place no one gives a damn about the freest, you can do anything you want and no one will tell you off. A new inner sect isn't a pet project. You need time, people, and resources to pull a stunt like this. Especially resources, since even as a sect leader with all those oldies pushing you, you'll hardly have the legitimate reason to come support the labor office. Anyone can tell dumping resources here is a waste. No one will agree. Siawiwa mocked. Who said I'm giving you anything? You have all the resources you need. You want me to pay for it? Joa Fan pointed at his nose. Why the hell should I? I don't know how you got loaded and came into wealth, even giving disciples so many top goodies, yet now you are complaining about sharing some with the sect? You're a demon-scheming sect disciple right now, so act like one. Siawiwa snorted, feeling mighty sour. I'd never speak of this plan if not for your deep pockets. You're the only one who can bear this responsibility and raise a new inner sect. As for time, since you took just 10 years to get Luo clan so high, you're sure to get a new inner sect built in a short time as well. Regarding people, you'll have the labor office to pick disciples from, and I've also spread the word that labor office houses an expert that can train elites in a short time. I reckon the inner and outer disciples will flock to you. So lighten up, it's all a matter of resources now, ha ha ha. Siawiwa laughed, and Joa Fan came out of his stupor 2 seconds later with a vengeance. You're robbing me blind. Going Robin Hood on me, are you? That's my hard-earned capital. I can't just take everyone. Think it through. As a money bag, don't come crying to me. It is your contribution to the sect. By the way, the kid must have told you by now. Give me a set as well. I'm fresh out. You've robbed me of everything and became a pauper. Joa Fan's face twitched. Siawiwa hid a smile, feeling uplifted all of a sudden, and vanished with one last line. Kid, better make do on that set order I have for you. Since I'm covering for you, it's time you did something for me, ha ha ha. I'll do something all right, kick you in the tenders. I'm doing all the work, and now you want me to pay for all of it too? Frickin' frassum. No one's as dirty as you. Oh, right, this is a demonic sect. Everyone here stinks. Zhuo Fan's mood sank, and he gnashed his teeth. Xiaoyue, I'll get you for this, and won't stop until you cry. Dang. Under the clear moon night, Labor Office was quiet as all laborers had come back after a toiling day of work and training, so that one day they may leave this hopeless hellhole, though those resigned to their fates just had a peaceful sleep, doing the work like robots. Then a clear bell ring sounded across the land and jerked them awake. Everyone looked around, stunned. The gathering bell? So soon? Kuei Lang and Yu Ling were the only ones who could use it. But with them gone, who'd have the same power? An aged voice called from outside. Everyone is to gather at once. Elder Yuan, who called the meeting. Aren't Kuei Lang and Yu Ling gone? One laborer rushed around in panic and asked the old man. Elder Yuan smiled. People come and go, but the camp is never without its soldiers. The two have left, but someone took their place. Hurry up now, or you'll piss him off. Elder Yuan went all over the place to announce a new boss. Did an inner disciple get dumped here again? Two left, yet another one shows up? Sigh. There's just no rest for the wicked. I wonder if he's any better? The gang rushed to the cave and the meeting place, but the boss left them speechless. It was no senior brother or sister, but a fellow they all knew too well. Zhuo Fan next to him were his two disciples, both in the radiant stage. The pressure bore down on the laborers and made them tense. On the spot, Elder Yuan ran to the platform and grinned. Steward Zhuo, all are here. Thank you, Elder Yuan. Zhuo Fan looked down on the laborers. You are all gathered here for two reasons, one good and one bad. Everyone looked around, puzzled. Zhuo Fan smiled. The bad news is your happy days are over. Kuei Lang and Yu Ling are gone, and you have had around half a year of easy time. But now, I am in charge of the Labor Office, and will get you to make up for those 6 months of lost time. Every heart skipped a beat. Having a bad feeling, Zhuo Fan looked to be in the 8th layer of profound heaven stage, but his power went way beyond. Even Kuei Lang and Yu Ling showed respect. Can't you see his disciples? They're radiant stage experts, for crying out loud. The fact that they were disciples to a profound heaven master went to show what a freak he was. They were even more afraid of the mysterious Zhuo Fan than the hardballing Kuei Lang and Yu Ling, just that Zhuo Fan had no interest in Labor Office so far, but now had plans to take it for himself. Zhuo Fan sensed their fear. Not to worry, I'm not as cruel as those two, nor will I interfere with your work. I'll only do it if you let me. And thus we come to the good news. I am going to form an elite labor office here to assist you in your plight. Chapter 566, Top Outer Disciple. Chapter 566, Top Outer Disciple. Elite? Everyone was perplexed. Weren't they the lowest rung in the sect? Were they to be divided again into elites and common laborers? Zhuo Fan ignored the clamor, letting them get it out of their system while also stirring their curiosity. He signaled for attention after a moment. Everyone, this is the Labor Office. You can't get any lower than this in the sect. Everyone here is punished or cast out, never to see the light of day. The fortunate ones like Kuei Lang and Yu Ling who return to the inner sect or become executives are too few, while the vast majority will live their last days here, fated to find their end as materials for the higher-ups training. You're lower than ants, so how can you hope for survival when death is set in stone? Zhuo Fan's words caught their undivided attention. Yeah, we're only guinea pigs for others, raised for the right moment to take our lives. They were truly poor souls, and would be better off dying than live such a wretched life. Sorrow consumed them, and some even sobbed in despair. Zhuo Fan hid a grin as he stated, Everyone knows I am special since I got here. Without so much as a test, they put me here even though I didn't commit any crime. Why, you ask? Envious of my talent? Zhuo Fan roared. You must have heard of Kuei Lang and Yu Ling's situation, and you've seen with your own eyes what a dark pit the inner sect is. It's those elders and venerables who are envious of talents that landed me in this place from which I can never escape. Even if I do, I will never wash away the stain of being a laborer always beneath them. Zhuo Fan's rage would not be denied. Kuei Gang flinched and rolled his eyes. He saw with his own eyes how sect leader came to Zhuo Fan for help in this plan. With sect leader's cover, no oldie was going to come for him. Those two were enacting a devious and hidden plot out of the masses' eyes, yet now his master had twisted it into playing the victim. Master sure knows how to spin it. Little did he know that Zhuo Fan was attacking their morale, using the art of war to get them on his side. By living alongside the laborers in the labor office, they related to one another and allowed them listen to his ideas and follow him. Many were filled with grief at Zhuo Fan's speech. Recalling their own bitter experiences, some were trapped and forced here, while others were thrown like trash, earning the stigma of being laborers. No matter how they got out, they would still be the targets of ridicule and shame. Labor office's disciples united their hearts with Zhuo Fan's. In their grief and anger, Elder Yuan nodded inside. That's how you rule. Kuei Lang and Yu Ling were boors with their rough tactics. No matter if the others feared them, they saw the two with hatred and denial more than anything. While Steward Zhuo is a smooth operator, all while leading them to their deaths. Ha ha ha, his status as steward on the outside wasn't just for show. Elder Yuan smiled. Since they've dumped me in the labor office, I've decided to take it over and never leave this damn place again. Screw being an executive. They want me to bear a stigma all my life? Humph! I will bear it like a badge of honor. Zhuo Fan clenched his fists. I will make labor office be the greatest place in the sect. Its pride so high that any labor who walks out will go with his head held high under the envy of the rest. From now on, labor office has no waste but elites. Let those other disciples watch you in jealousy, fighting to get into the labor office no matter how futile their attempts are. Zhuo Fan's speech lit a fire under their asses, but a cold snort came to pour water on their spirits. Just a pipe dream. The sect's resources are fixed, mainly for elites and those elders and venerables. Then come the inner disciples and executives, and lastly outer disciples. As for the labor office, it gets nothing. Even if you divide the labor office, everyone will cultivate based on their talents. Without resources, all your words are worth nothing. Waking up from Zhuo Fan's beautiful dream, everyone felt an overwhelming sadness gripping their hearts. In the end, it's only a dream. The sect won't give us anything to achieve it. It was more like it couldn't grant wastes any resources because there was no point. Even wastrels that end up here with huge backings wouldn't receive much from those oldies because this place was the sect's dumping ground for broken things. Left here to rot, Zhuo Fan's eyes met the young man's cold eyes and the overwhelming despair. They hid his power was at peak profound heaven stage. So close and yet so far from entering radiant stage. Who is he? I've never seen him before. Zhuo Fan asked Elder Yuan. Elder Yuan scanned the roster and said, Steward Zhuo. He is tying, having his shoulder blades run through for peeping on his senior sisters while bathing 3 years ago and has been locked ever since. He just got released and was thrown here. He has yet to hear of your illustrious name. Peeping in the girls' bath? That's nothing. And you can see it from his eyes. He isn't someone to lower himself by doing such crass acts. Zhuo Fan said. Elder Yuan scratched his head. I do not know the whole story. All I know is that he peeped on 7th Elder's granddaughter. Granddaughter. Raising an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan mocked. Kid, who played you? Tai Ying's face was a mask of rage and hatred. You're something to see through my sentence with one look. Hee, of course. Commoners can't compete with the wealthy as the wealthy can't compete with officials. Anyone with a brain can see peeping isn't a death sentence. That only leaves falling for someone's trap. Ha ha ha. The wealthy can't compete with the officials. Good one. Even the people from labor office understand it. But then why did no elder or venerable want to hear my explanation? Tai Ying was crestfallen. Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes, reprimanding. Dumbass, since they want to bury you, they'll never give you any chance to escape. Who do you think you are? If someone wants to deal with you, he's not going to let you talk back and shame him. Tai Ying's eyelid twitched, and he sighed. He knew it as well. But he was angry for justice and fairness, no matter how hopeless it was. But then he pointed at Fan. Boy, you just spoke a pack of lies with your speech to control labor office and take even those scraps from them. Every boss of labor office has done this, and you're no different, even if weaker. So what is an 8th layer of profound heaven cultivator doing, showing off in the labor office? Tai Ying's challenge only earned looks of pity from everyone. Ah, newbie! Even in the profound heaven stage, he can wipe the floor with radiant stage experts. Or do you think you're a much better fit as the labor office's boss? Zhuo Fan frowned, then smiled, pointing at his disciple. Boy, do you not see that my disciples are in the radiant stage? Am I not worthy of ruling the labor office? Humph! Radiant stage experts having a profound heaven master is the biggest joke I've ever heard. Tai Ying squinted and spat. I bet you're some oldie son, in here for some crime and dumped here with bodyguards. I've seen it before. Humph! Using connections. Tai Ying snorted, filled with mockery. Zhuo Fan shook his head. He must have been had by a wastrel to feel such rancor, and must despise any wastrel he sees. But his mockery got cut short by a reverberating shout. Since when did the great top outer disciple Tai Ying get reduced to being petty and nitpicking? You're nothing but a nagging hag. Chapter 567. Grand Elder's Vision. Chapter 567. Grand Elder's Vision. Shuddering, Tai Ying turned his stiff neck only to falter back at the familiar face. Gui Hu! Tai Ying, Kuei Gang, and Yuera cried at once. While Tai Ying looked positively shocked, the other two had a mixed reaction. Now, even the great top inner disciple had shown up at the labor office. Zhuo Fan asked, You know each other? He sized Gui Hu up, and his eyes lit up. 7th layer of radiant stage. Just what did he do to get sent here? Did his master just let him go? Master, have you forgotten how you blew him off at the last inner competition in one sweep? He is Grand Elder's prize pupil, best inner disciple Gui Hu. Kuei Gang nodded, learning Gui Hu's situation from his father, and Yuera from Yu Ling. Zhuo Fan paused, then nodded. Oh, him. But his savagery was quite heavy then, unlike now. He must have made great headway in his mentality and heart. Master, you even forgot an expert like him? Kuei Gang sighed. Zhuo Fan shrugged. I never even took him into account when I just gave the broom a whirl. Or am I supposed to remember every ant that steps under my shoe? Awesome, Master. Kuei Gang and Yuera chuckled, while Gui, who was a top expert to them. Zhuo Fan saw him as an ant. This is the gap. Gui, who picked up on the situation from Zhuo Fan's face and lamented having held no impression on this monster. He never even registered my presence from how weak I was. While Tai Ying was shell-shocked and incredulous. Ji Gui Hu, what are you doing here? Yeah, you should be well on your way as an elite. Zhuo Fan gave Elder Yuan a curious glance. Elder Yuan inspected the roster and found the answer. Steward Zhuo. Gui, who has been here for 2 days. They say he stole a pill and Grand Elder banished him in rage. Steal? The best inner disciple to become elite, having everything handed to him, stole? Zhuo Fan eyed him longer. You came for me, didn't you? Gui, who hid his shock, then gave a slow nod. Tai Ying shed his shock in favor of a moronic look. Ah, so you came for revenge. But what kind of grudge must have pushed you so far as to fall so low to pursue it? No matter how much of a dump the labor office was, it was under the sex protection for Gui Hu to kill a labor. He could only do it by lowering down to his target's level, since the sex rules forbade hurting anyone lower than him, but the price was inconceivable, and even stirred up doubt in Tai Ying. Buzz off, who are you calling a moron? Gui Hu rebutted, then stared at Zhuo Fan hard as he recalled his master's words. You are the product of your environment. I am not adept in the matters of the heart, while Impermanence 5's mentality evolved so much thanks to being around High Venerable, which made their domain a murder weapon. If you seek to go further on your path, walk by the kid side. As for being some laborer, ha ha ha. High Venerable has a saying I most approve of, the strong are everywhere. The path you tread is your own, not the sect paving it for you. Master's guidance rang in Guehu's ears, and he shouted, "Juefan, I wish to follow you." "Why?" "Train my heart." Guehu was blunt. Juefan nodded with a smile. "Come right over." "Wait, master." Kue Gang said, "Grand Elder cherishes his disciple, and if he is letting him come here, it must be with a twisted plan in mind. Moreover, won't it affect the grand design of yours and the sect leader?" Juefan snickered. "Runt, your caution is ill-placed here. We have only just begun, and there's no way for those oldies in the inner sect to catch wind of anything. Don't you find sending their disciple just to probe me so soon a waste? More than anything, his eyes are friendly. He is definitely here to train, and nothing more. Ha ha ha, I feel the same. Guehu is too pig-headed and impulsive to be a good spy. Even if his master gave him such a task, it will butt heads with his nature. But I feel the sincerity in his eyes in wishing to learn." Elder Yuan sighed. "How rare. Some youths are willing to brave anything to walk their path. Grand Elder is a true visionary to know what his disciple needs the most. Ha ha ha." Kue Gang shrugged at Juefan and Elder Yuan's attitudes, while Tai Ying's mind was out of commission. He grabbed Guehu. "Senior brother Guehu, you're telling me that you want to follow him? You're the greatest in the inner sect, yet you're fawning over a wastrel? Have you lost all dignity over just one failure? You know nothing, but I'll humor you. That man, right there on the stage, made me feel powerless. Among this entire labor office, I will follow only him." Guehu snorted. Tai Ying watched him go with a shocked look. What the hell is going on here? Since when was profound heaven stage cultivation amazing? Juefan's enticing voice once again drew attention. "People," Brother Tai Ying raised a valid question that I am going to answer right now. "The resources are not a problem. They will come from me. Don't believe me? Take a closer look at my disciples." Juefan pointed at Yuer and Kue Gang, who stepped forth to reveal their gaudy trinkets. Everyone's eyes reddened, picking up on the thick spiritual energy wafting from them. No matter how many rumors they heard, seeing them all dolled up had their blood boiling. Tai Ying couldn't think straight. For the love of God, 2 disciples, armed to the teeth in 8th and 9th grade demonic treasures, is unheard of, even among venerables and elders. Since when did the labor office become a club for high rollers? Fellow brothers, these children challenged inner disciples and yet came back alive and well. Why? Because what I offer, the elites can't top. Stick with me, and you're set for life. All of you who wish to follow me, shout out my name, Steward Jua. Steward Jua. He incited the crowd, and they replied in kind, filled with hope and desire, as if he was their deliverer. A messiah, Juefan flicked his hand, and the hubbub grounded to a halt. Juefan turned heavy in his shout. "In order to follow me, there are some conditions to thirst for strength. I have no need for loafers. Through a trial I'll soon set up in the labor office. I will test each and every one of you if you're worthy to join the elite labor office and deserving of my endless resources. I promise you that those who pass will become elders or venerables. You will no longer have to join the Azura Circle. And as for those who fail, sorry, but you'll remain as simple laborers waiting for death in the Azura Circle." Whoosh! The shouting that was mounting faltered as the crowd turned silent. "Wait, we still have to pass a test? I haven't cultivated in weeks." Juefan hammered it in. "If you are so afraid to even take this step to become strong, to join me, then you deserve your fate as ants. You don't have the drive to thirst for power. You are weak." This reverse psychology worked its magic like a charm with a mix of encouragement and insults. Many were driven. Their spirits burned with a fire never seen for years as they stormed. Juefan Tai Ying felt the crowd move past him. Then his eyes steeled for going with them. Let's see what a profound heaven cultivator has that can make so many fall for his words. For even the greatest inner disciple Gué, who to follow him? They followed Juefan behind the mountain, to the cemetery where he shouted and made a sign, heaven earth profound yellow, for direction gates open. Chapter 568. Heaven, Earth, Profound Yellow. Chapter 568. Heaven, Earth, Profound Yellow. Rumble. The ceaseless rumbling accompanied the appearance of 4 doors merging into reality, with each having a different word etched on the top. Heaven, Earth, Profound, and Yellow Juafan passed by each of them. Each door is a sealed array, and also your test. Between heaven and earth, heaven and man combine to form body, mind, and soul. It changes and mutates into endless variations. Each of the arrays here is made of a blend of 3 types: trapping, killing, and bewildering, an ever-shifting space. You simply need to pass any one of these tests and you will become an elite in the labor office and will be absolved from the suffering of a Jura circle. You mean they're all the same? Why 4 then? Tai Ying asked. Puzzled Juafan smiled. Good question. Making all 4 doors the same would have been a pointless act. The yellow door is the simplest, with heaven, earth, profound, and yellow targeting different aspects. The difficulty rises from yellow to heaven, just like how there's outer disciples, inner disciples, and elites. There are arrays of 5th grade and 6th grade, with the heaven door being a 7th grade array. SSS. Everyone gasped. Even Tai Ying had a perpetual frown. Outstanding. Labor office has someone that can set up 7th grade arrays. Everyone knew any array below 7th grade was moot for ethereal stage, meaning even ethereal stage experts had to take some time in breaking a 7th grade array. And this was a cultivation the elders and venerables had. Yet this guy has set it up just to test disciples. Juafan beamed. The 4 doors target different aspects. As you can see, I'm not here to test your strength, but potential. Since you just have to stick with me for a bit, and strength would come by itself. Tai Ying had to admit he had started to admire Juafan, even if just a bit moving past his integrity. Just the fact that he had done more than those oldies ever could spoke volumes. With the labor office being dirt poor, testing these people like the outer and inner disciples was not possible, though no one could guarantee that giving the same treatment to these people would result in breaking their limits through dozens of trials to become better than outer disciples, hence the test for potential. While those oldies were fixated on strength alone when it came to the competitions, forgoing the potential of the disciples, to say nothing of the buried talents dumped in the labor office, or more like they didn't care, only looking to get a firm grip on their power while doing as little as possible. And since the labor office could join the grand competition where outer and inner disciples would participate, they would threaten the oldies' gains, so they always pushed on the labor office, wasting it into the ground to strengthen their authority. But this one man before them wanted to unearth the rough and glittering gold within and challenge those oldies by taking food from right under their noses. Tai Ying squinted. This will all blow up in smokes without someone backing this single disciple, no matter how strong this guy is. He alone can't take on the inner sect. Someone's out to change the status quo in the sect, and this guy is his right hand, stirring up chaos in the labor office. Great! Tai Ying shouted in excitement that got the others' attention. What's up with him? Juafan had an odd look. Did he lose it? Tai Ying walked over with steady steps before Juafan. I know your plan, and I'll join. It's high time for the demon scheming sect to change. You have to prove yourself to me first. Juafan's eyes flashed. We have a thinker in our midst, one that is fueled by rage and hatred for what those oldies did to him. Tai Ying pointed at the earth door. Before I do, answer me this. Will you take me with you once I come out of it? I will. But I must warn you, there's a killing array inside. Having been locked up for 3 years, your strength must have waned. For your sake, choose the profound door. Juafan gave a friendly reminder. Everyone was tense. We can die in there. All faltered back. Tai Ying couldn't care less, laughing. Live as geniuses or die as heroes. I'd rather die than not live my life to the fullest. Tai Ying was the first to enter the earth door. It followed with loud rumbling coming from within, rattling the fear in the people's hearts and making them shrink back even further. The kid has a nice personality and will achieve great things. Elder Yuan rubbed his beard. Zhuo Fan smiled. Those oldies trash is another man's gold. But let's wait after he comes out alive and not jump the gun. Master, didn't we come out of that 7th grade array? This array is only 6th grade. How hard can it be? Kuei, Gang asked Zhuo Fan mocked. Those arrays you used were designed for your cultivation. 7th grade, but far weaker. While the Earth Door has trapping, killing, and bewildering arrays blending together to achieve a multiplicative effect. You're welcome to try the Heaven Door if you don't believe me. I promise you there'll be nothing left of you. Ah, I'd rather not, Kuei Gang faltered and looked bitterly at Yuo, only smiled whoosh. A dark figure shot inside the Heaven Door before anyone took notice. Terrible grating sounds followed that shook the nerves of the people to their core. Who the hell is so suicidal to take on the hardest door? Someone shouted. Zhuo Fan eyed the gate and muttered, Gui who? Ha ha ha, he is Grand Elder's disciple, of great talent and immense ability. Now that he's in the labor office, he's on our side. Elder Yuan praised. Zhuo Fan nodded. He is bold and capable. I'd train him even without you needing to point it out. Though I can't say if he'll stick with me or go back to Grand Elder in the end. Anyway, all of this is for Double Dragon Gathering. Ha ha ha. Yeah, the bigger picture. Elder Yuan nodded. Everyone else entered a period of waiting as the Heaven and Earth doors rumbled on, and with each sound, crumbled their bravery. They were waiting to see their fate. If not even the top inner and outer disciples could survive, they stood no chance at all. Booming sounds and sharp energies flew all around in the pensive silence for 6 hours. There had been no sign of movement from within. The other disciples' hearts were stuck in their throats. Elite labor office is fine and all, but it's too deadly. At dawn break, with the 2 disciples still within the rays, the rest fell into despair. Crack. The sound of slow steps coming from the Heaven Door announced someone's arrival. It was faint and weary, revealing Gui, who as he approached, he was gasping and exhausted. On the verge of collapse, the others cried out, just what's in there to make a 7th layer of Radiant Stage expert so wretched? He's on the point of dying. Followed by a louder sound. A bloody figure came out from the Earth Door, but his eyes flashed with savagery. One could practically hear hearts dropping, some opting to leave in sorrow rather than brave such deadly trials, seeing their spirits crushed, their bravery fall flat, and their courage going limp. Zhuo Fan declared, Gui, who has passed the Heaven Door and received a 7th grade demonic treasure and 4 7th grade pills. Tai Ying passed the Earth Door and received a 6th grade demonic treasure and 3 6th grade pills. Yuer and Kuei Gang presented their rewards. Ugh. All looked flabbergasted at the glittering items. Chapter 569, Unstoppable. Chapter 569, Unstoppable. The spiritual energy-packed pills and dazzling demonic treasures glittered in the eyes of the greedy and envious Gui, who in Tai Ying held their heavy rewards with a dull look. The first thing they received on coming out was the most astonishing reward. Gui, who held an icy demon broadsword, while Tai Ying received a jade and golden weaved gloves, 7th grade demonic treasure, soul-sucking demon blade, and 6th grade demonic treasure, heaven-rending cloud gloves. Zhuo Fan pointed out, oh, forgot to mention, besides entering the elite labor office and enjoying my many resources, you also get a reward. 7th grade demonic treasure and 4 7th grade pills for the Heaven Door. 6th grade demonic treasure and 3 6th grade pills for the Earth Door. A 5th grade demonic treasure and 2 5th grade pills for the Profound Door. A 4th grade demonic treasure and 1 4th grade pill for the Yellow Door. The audience was too dazed to react in excitement. From being filled with fear, they were now filled with desire. Zhuo Fan grinned and pointed behind him. There are few turning points in one's life. Whether you grasp it and soar, become a dragon among ants, it will all be up to you to roar. The red-eyed mob took to the doors like an assault. all lusting for shiny rewards in detriment of their lives and the dangers they would face. Losing all reason, the really crazy ones jumped into the heaven door. Utterly suicidal, what hope could they possibly have? Yet, a few dozen people who still had a little mind to care about their lives decided to leave, and Juefan did not stop them by any means. Greed is good, but don't lose your mind over it. Such reckless desire will only bring them death, sooner rather than later. In a jiffy, howls and wails adorned the morning sky above the heaven and earth doors. Their fates were sealed once everyone got in. Gouet, who glanced at his blade and gave it back, "I know your words were just to entice them. Now that they believe it, here, take it back. They were to entice them, yes, but were also real. This is your reward for clearing the heaven door. Keep it if you want to be an elite laborer. You'll need it." "Juefan," said Gouet, who said, "but it's too much." "How so?" "It's only a small reward. I am no poor fellow." Juefan chuckled. Jouer and Coué Gang smiled. "Master is well off. If you don't want it, he'll just give it to someone else." "Say what?" Gouet, who sized Juefan up with shining eyes. Tai Ying blinked incredulously. As we'll hear, they thought Juefan was playing a role to get his name higher in the labor office and get those cowering laborers to assault heaven and earth doors with a little incentive, only to find the guy really did hand over those rewards I told you. Upon joining the elite labor office, you will receive plenty of resources. All from me. Now then, you two, Tai Ying in particular, you don't have to worry about the sect's political struggles while you are in the labor office. We do not rely on the sect, only on me. Tai Ying's heart shook. He took Juefan for another man's pawn in some big shot's plan. These great demonic treasures and pills had to have come from someone with a really high-up backing, but it was all in his head. The guy is a moneybag. He wants to make his own faction, hidden from the sect's eyes. Don't all disciples come to sects for resources? Why stick to the sect when he's the one giving them out? Tai Ying grew thrilled. Even being sent to this rotten garbage dump, he still found a way out. Brother Joie, what might we call you?" Tai Ying cupped his hands as he ventured. Juefan pondered. "I've been the steward of my clan before this, and now I'm the steward of the labor office's elites. So just call me Steward Joie." "Yes, Steward Joie." Gouet, Hu, and Tai Ying nodded. Now they waited for the survivors. Minutes and hours ticked by all the way till the sun hung high above in the sky and the birds sang until someone finally came out. Weary and shaky people wobbled out of the door. All covered with wounds, Juefan eyed his disciples, and they responded in kind, by stepping forth with the rewards at the sight of all those pills and demonic treasures. The weary trial takers stood up like their wounds were nothing, touched to the core. They never thought they'd ever see such a thing again after being thrown in the labor office for years and years. "I'm so touched. Even death would have been worth it." As more and more came out, Coué Gang and Jouer gave them their rewards, and their cheers grew in number. Juefan did a head count once everyone was out and found only 50 missing, probably dead. Not that anyone cared when they all looked after themselves first and foremost. Oh, and the massive reward. One shouldn't forget that if the reward had come later, they'd lament and take a moment for their fellow brothers who had died in the cruel trials. But now they had bigger and shinier things to worry about. Juefan swept the crowd with a critical eye. While you rushed in, some disciples left, aware of their limitations and frail hearts. Their future will forever be average, or some might return here never to come out. Who knows? But to you, congratulations. You are now elite laborers and will receive everything you need from me. Steward Joie, Steward Joie. The roars and pumped fists spoke volumes of their excitement, especially now, holding their rewards and thrilled by the gains. Juefan had filled them with a drive this hellhole had sucked out of them for so many years. Bringing the glimmer of hope in their pits of despair, he had practically become an existence higher than their parents. A gesture brought silence back, but the fire in their eyes burned hotter. Still Juefan grinned. Most of you entered the yellow gate, with a rare few taking the profound one. Just how the doors are different, so are the rewards. If you want another door's treasure, then do your best and cultivate. Take on the next door, and I will give you the same reward your neighbor got. Roar! Xue Fan's words added more fuel to the burning pyre. All the pressure and desolation they had gone through these years was at this moment shed off in their excitement. This power had brought the labor office a chance to shine. Elder Yuan nodded with a smile. Labor office got swept up by a sudden cultivation frenzy, with all laborers using their off-duty time to grow stronger rather than mess around, because they now had a goal: to brave the next gate and gain more stuff. As for those too shy to try the doors, they were regretting missing such a chance, even as they didn't slack off on their training, since a Jura circle only took those who were the weakest, no matter how cruel it was. As long as no one was beneath you, you were dead. Just going through the days like a lifeless husk would achieve the same result, but Xue Fan's elite labor office offered tests, offering all of them chances to enter it and wrest back their lives. Their only enemy was themselves. As for those petty tricks, that was easier to deal with. Harming another was harming oneself, and the time would be much better used on cultivating. It comforted Elder Yuan greatly, seeing all of them focused on cultivation, since all their efforts were for themselves, while nitpicking about others' weaknesses was in fact avoiding one's own, and this frenzy got so big it infected the outer sect. Chapter 570, Flaunting. Chapter 570, Flaunting. Rustle. It was the sound coming from a girl in a poor garb, swinging a broom in a courtyard like one did with a sword. The courtyard was spotless. In an instant the girl made sure no corner was cut and gave a sweet smile as she rushed away. Done so soon! A lady in green appeared in the courtyard and called out to the girl, "You've been in a rush as of late. What's the hurry?" The girl giggled. "Ha ha ha, senior sister, I'm cultivating." "Cultivate?" Lady in green was taken aback, then mocked. "Ha ha ha, you?" The girl's mood sank and anger bubbled inside her. Just then, a lady in purple rushed in, taking in the tense mood. "Junior sister, why are you laughing?" "Senior sister," she said, "she's rushing back to cultivate. Ah ha ha. Isn't it funny?" The lady in green held her stomach and laughed away. The one in purple eyed the girl, then cracked up. "Girl, you're a labor, yet you want to cultivate? Learn to enjoy life a little. Don't miss out on your best years. What's wrong with being a labor? I've passed the test, and now I'm an elite labor." The girl huffed and stuck out her quite modest chest. The two laughed harder. "What elite? You're just a no good labor." She must have lost at being in the labor office for all this time. Once a laborer, always a cripple, yet still trying to cultivate. Does she think of herself as a phoenix rising from the ashes? Hi. Junior sister, this girl must have a screw loose. Just ignore her. The lady in purple jeered, then took out a jade sword with smugness. "Elder Huang just gave me this third-grade demonic treasure. What do you think?" "Wow, third-grade demonic treasure." The other looked in envy. "With so many outer disciples, getting one is so hard. Tell me, what deal did you struck with Elder Huang?" The purple lady blushed and cursed. "Hey, I earned it with my talent. He'll take me as a disciple once I enter the inner sect." "Really?" The green lady had starry eyes. The purple lady blushed harder, but still stuck out her mighty fine chest. "Of course. What else is there?" "Skank." A huff entered their ears. The two looked back at the mocking laborer and snapped, "What the hell did you just say?" "Skank. That's what selling yourself for a measly third-grade demonic treasure would get you." The girl's honesty was devastating. The two of them were fuming mad. "Humph, ignorant servant, I bet you've never seen a third-grade demonic treasure in your life." Whoosh! She ended up choking from the dazzling light show coming from the girl's blade, revealed in all its glory. The sharp edge and its thick spiritual energy snuffed the purple lady's treasure's aura like a candle. A fourth-grade demonic treasure! The purple lady was tongue-tied. The green lady was dumbfounded as well, rooted in place with an empty head. Only the girl wiped the shiny edge of the blade with her poor garb. With pride, the two outer disciples cried out, Did you just steal a fourth-grade demonic treasure?" "Idiot, if it were that easy, you think your senior sister would have sold herself over a measly third-grade demonic treasure?" The girl kept her insults going while waving her blade around. Almost all elite laborers have at least one of these by now. I'm still too weak to get a better weapon. Some senior brothers even have 5th, 6th, or 7th grade. That's why I've got to work hard to get steward, joie's reward. I don't have time to waste on something as insipid as cleaning or you. The girl left in a hurry and swaggered off with her big blade. The two ladies were too stunned to react when they did. They were overwhelmed. Elite labor office? What's that, a place to train elite disciples? The green lady asked the purple lady, shook her head to gain some semblance of reasoning back. I've never even heard of it, or there wouldn't be a labor office at the end. Where else is one supposed to get a 4th grade demonic treasure when not even inner disciples can get one? Just hand one to a laborer? Yeah, just what place is that? The purple lady pondered, then grew anxious. Junior sister, isn't that rumor going around for a couple days now? The one saying that the labor office has a huge expert who has 2 disciples that crushed elite candidates in the inner competition. Yet even then, his disciples came back to the labor office. Is the elite labor office where the expert stays? The green lady nodded. Maybe, but let's look into it to make sure. If he likes senior sister, then we'll strike gold. Didn't you hear that, girl? There are 6th and 7th grade goodies as well. Yeah, let's go. The purple lady nodded, and off they went to their destination. Labor office similar cases popped up in many corners of the sect, all freakish. The despised laborers made a comeback the likes of which the entire sect had never seen. As they flaunted their stuff, showing off one's bling wasn't exactly a skill, but it had its uses to make the inner and outer disciples' eyes go red. What took the cake was their statement, we're from the elite labor office, and all the wealth comes from our patron. With red eyes and thumping hearts, the disciples from all over the sect converged on the labor office to uncover the mystical identity of the super boss. If they got a reward while they were at it, even better. Being so liberal with some stinking laborers must mean he'll be quite generous to the rest. All those disciples arrived with excitement, only to be barred at the gates. The shabby fence of the labor office had a notice sign in front, Elite Labor Office, with Uer and Kue gang standing on each side of it. Their radiant stage aura was obvious enough, but so were their high-grade demonic treasures, blinding these disciples enticed by easy money. Oh hell, the boss has to be in. His disciples are out front. More and more disciples flocked in, begging to see Zhuo Fan. Yet Kue gang and Uer never relented. Kei gang shouted, "Hold it! This is the elite labor office where the master is resting. Who dares to disturb him?" Whoosh! His shout rang heavy in the crowd's ears, his aura pushing them all back. Yeah, a place is known for its local big shots, not the terrain. Just what kind of big boss came here to make it have such paramount importance? Anyone could come and go as they wanted to in the past. Well, now there were 2 radiant stage experts acting as guards, senior sister, senior brother. Could we just have a peek at the expert? Some of them rubbed their hands. Uer and Kue gang had an insidious grin. Of course you can, but he is the steward of the elite labor office and only sees laborers. You may see him at your leisure when you become one. Say what? Become a laborer to see him? That was too steep a price. Everyone frowned, and they were all conflicted. Tying and Gue, who carried 2 bruised and wounded laborers to the pair. One passed the profound door, the other passed the earth one. Someone passed the earth door like you, senior brother Tying? Are you sure he's not a cheat? Kue gang raised an eyebrow. Tying chuckled. Who can cheat with me around? The earth door isn't too hard, though. I ended up like that because I've just gotten out of chains and was quite weak. Otherwise, I would have barely gotten hurt. Well, Master did put you 2 to supervise the doors, so we believe you. Kue gang chuckled and took out a 5th grade and a 6th grade demonic treasure. The crowd's eyes popped out. Tying looked at them with envy. So many blessings upon Steward Zhuo's disciples. He even has you holding all of them. This Master gave us 8th and 9th grade demonic treasures, and you think we care about some baubles? Ever since we paid respects to our Master, Our horizon has broadened, and we no longer find these trinkets valuable. I even have 30 of them in my ring, waiting for the others to pass the earth door. Kuei gang shrugged. The inner and outer disciples still around were shaking like leaves. The big shot is loaded and is so generous too. It might even be worth it to become a labor. We would get far better treatment in here than in the inner sect or elite area. The hearts of these disciples thrummed with desire. Chapter 571. Inner sect quakes. Chapter 571. Inner sect quakes. It's insane. They've all gone crazy. Venerable Sure was enjoying the cooling breeze in his courtyard. So peaceful, so quiet, then a shriek broke his relaxation. It was the second elder, all enraged and panting. What's up with the perv? He's always indulging himself whenever he gets the chance. So why is he so peeved? Venerable Sure raised a mocking eyebrow. Second elder, what has gotten you so testy? Venerable Sure, I'm not angry at you. It's this darn situation. Second elder gesticulated, finding it hard to quell his rage. Those hussies of mine have asked me to let them go to the labor office. You tell me if it warrants anger or not. And to think that I made an exception when taking them in to help them become inner disciples. Yet now they've just left me. Labor office. Venerable Sure squinted. Have they lost it? No matter how lustful and whiny you are, neither is bad enough to choose the labor office over you. Are they just throwing a tantrum? No, Venerable Sure, in fact, the labor office. They've all gone mental. Another person rushed over and shouted his indignation. They watched a tall and buff man roaring. Venerable Sure was even more perplexed now. Seventh elder, what happened to you? What else? It's that damn labor office. Seventh elder was blowing a gasket. Second elder had found his soul made in plight and asked him, Your disciples came crying to send them to labor office as well. Come crying? That would have been way better. Seventh elder flicked his sleeve. Those brats are demanding it. They all want to go to the labor office. And what about me? How can I be a respected member of the elder community without proper disciples? Of course I refused, but those brats stole my pills and ruined my home. They were doing all kinds of crimes, one bigger than the last. Now I have locked them up to reflect. Ugh, I'm outraged. Venerable Sure listened to their rants and grew unsettled by the second. What on earth happened? Why have inner disciples flipped with no rhyme or reason? Venerable Sure, you still don't know. The two sighed, and the second elder explained. Labor office has an aberration, throwing out pills and treasures like garbage, and even establishing some elite labor office. As long as a labor passes his tests, they'll get treasures and pills, resources even. They get more stuff than even an elite. The news has made the disciples lose their minds, all coming up with strange plans to get punished and be sent to labor office. This fight is harsher than even in the inner sect competition. Venerable Sure's face fell, and he frowned. Labor office again. Sect leader has played his hand, I see, and he played it big. Sect leader. The two cried. Venerable Sure was certain. It must be him, or how else can the labor office, without any backbone, cough up so many things and upset the sect's peace? Sect leader is planning to use the lower rung to crush the higher ones, to aim for us. You too. Convene with the elders and venerables. Let's see just how far is sect leader going to take it. Venerable Sure's eyes flashed, and the two cupped their hands. Yes. Dang. The ringing spread across the inner sect, and the oldies rushed to the hall. Xia Weiwa frowned, walking over as well. The place was packed. Who called for this meeting? Xia Weiwa took his rightful seat and demanded an explanation. The copper bell can only be rung in times of great crisis, unless the sect leader does it himself. Have you forgotten, or is the sect in grave peril? Xia Weiwa's icy words made everyone shrink and stammer. Venerable Sure stepped forth with a bow. Sect leader, I have rung it. There's an urgent matter in need of your attention. And what might that be? A siege? Xia Weiwa raised an eyebrow. Venerable Sure shook his head. Inner chaos is more pressing. The unity of our people will brave any dangers. Demon scheming sect will survive, which makes this inner trouble a pressing matter. We have to settle it before it affects our safety. What could have happened to be so critical that it would lead to our destruction? Sietwiwa had a savage look staring down at Venerable Sure's eyes turned to his fellow oldies. Elders, Venerables, how many disciples are exhibiting odd behavior? How many are talking about going to the labor office? I've lost half of my disciples, and it won't be long before I have none left. A grizzled old man spoke with pain, then another one mocked. You fool, just refuse. You're the fool. If I refused, who knows what they'd do, who'd they piss off? I used to scare them with labor office threats, but now they'd accept it on the spot. Yeah, my disciples are going crazy as well, shirking all responsibilities. What am I supposed to do? Labor office is the latest fashion all of a sudden. Everyone is dying to go there. The old-timers devolved into a clamor. A pissing contest for who had it worst was a greater havoc than when Monkey King ran amok in heaven. What used to be a drive for the disciples to get into the inner sect had turned 180 degrees and become a drive to plunge into the labor office, and the blow that hurt the most was labor office being out of these old-timers' control. They would lose all power in a matter of days and wouldn't be able to do anything about it. The disciples no longer gave a damn about them, and this was a crushing blow to their ego, eyeing the crestfallen veterans. Xia Wuiwa hid a smirk. This was exactly why he brought Zhuo Fan over, to curb their greedy nature. Give it a few more days, and the inner sect will collapse. Venerable Shi turned to Xia Wuiwa with a bow. Sect leader, do you see? In a state such as this, the environment is no longer suited to promote learning and nurturing. With the entire balance turned upside down, it will soon spread to the entire sect, until the sect is no more. What will you have me do then? Xia Wuiwa smiled. Venerable Shi bowed. Sect leader, remove that so-called elite labor office's false name and reorganize the labor office. Please, sect leader, reorganize the sect. Uphold the rules. The other oldies echoed. Xia Wuiwa laughed in their faces. I will uphold the rules indeed. But with the labor office being the lowest rung of the demon scheming sect, it hasn't seen administration in ages, leaving it to run its course. And if a man of great talent were to come out of it, he would be just like High Venerable. It is the only hope for all those criminals, where great merit will lift them above this wretched station. This is the sect's rule, our rule. Touching the labor office equals relinquishing all that we stand for and our ancestors. Xia Wuiwa's icy glare drove a shiver down their spines. Going against their ancestral teachings was a heavy crime for them, as well demons had no ethics. But for their sect, they had to have rules or chaos ruled. Everyone shook their heads at the sect leader's stance. He had no intention of helping them deal with the labor office. In fact, he was against it 100%. They were free to try, but would suffer the consequences. Some elders who were thinking of causing a scene at the labor office perished this thought on the spot. Venerable Shi stood up at Xia Wuiwa's side, having seen this coming. Only his eyes flashed. Venerable Shi is right about one thing. Everyone aims for a higher standing. If you can't even get a hold of your disciples, how will you go any higher? Ha! Xia Wuiwa left with a self-righteous grin, strutting out of the hall and leaving the oldies choking on their words. Chapter 572, Poaching. Chapter 572, Poaching. The sinister laughter echoed among the old-timers who were bearing dark faces. As if a storm clouded their lives, Venerable Shi smiled at them. See, sect leader has made his stance clear. It goes to show that he had a hand in it, all directed at us. Letting this devolve any further will leave us penniless. They all nodded, yet someone asked in doubt. But the flood of resources coming from the labor office to train the disciples isn't stopping, as the sect's resources have to pass through us before being dispatched. How exactly did the sect leader fork out such a huge amount to strike back at us? Venerable Shi pondered and shook his head. It eludes me as well. But one thing remains unchanged. We can't let the labor office's attraction go on. As we don't know the full extent of those resources, no matter how we regulate the sect's resources, it won't affect the labor office. What worries me is that when we are left with no disciples, sect leader will use this as an excuse to take control of our rightful resources. That remark hit right where it hurt them the most, and the old men were wrought by pressure taking away their resources was akin to crippling their status in the sect. Sect leader's drastic move is ingenious. Second elder, exclaimed. The rest snorted and nodded. Venerable Sher's eyes were constantly moving. Yes, sect leader did use a great move. But can't we do the same and beat him at his own game? What do you mean? Everyone asked with a crafty glint in his eyes. Venerable Sher began. Sect leader has put out this elite labor office as a bait to draw our disciples in. But as long as we settle our own disciples, it loses its effect. And as the labor office's resource upkeep keeps rising, it will soon run out of fuel and no disciples will approach. It will ruin his plan for good. Let's see who lasts the longest. Brilliant. Seventh elder gave a thumbs up. We'll just play the waiting game, and one day it'll run out. And then chaos will follow with him crying, ha ha ha. Seventh elder's laughter echoed in the hall, infecting the others to do the same. If sect leader thinks he can steal our rights, he'll have another thing coming. But then someone said, how do we stop disciples from going to the labor office, though? It might work for a short time, but not forever. The startled folks turned to the frowning grand elder. How are they going to handle their disciples? Venerable Sher shook his head, his eyes flashing murder. We set a precedent. If the disciples don't hear reason, we'll kill a couple and they'll all fall in line. Heart sinking, the other oldies looked around awkward. It wasn't that they couldn't, since they were demonic cultivators at their core, but earning such a bad name would make sure they don't get any more disciples. Since you have no disciples, you don't deserve these resources. It all came down to interests, forcing these savage demons into shying from doing the unthinkable, killing their disciples. Venerable Sher sensed their worry and chuckled. I know your fears and can easily deal with them. We just have to do it together so that there will be no difference between who the disciples choose. Is everyone willing to bear the stigma? Heart-thumping, they all nodded. With everyone else killing disciples as well, we'll all earn a bad name. Desperate times call for desperate measures. With all of them seen as evil, the disciples would have no choice in the matter. Everyone had a sinister grin spreading on their faces. Brats, your time has come. With all in agreement, it's decided. Go set an example for each of your disciples and shake the rest into compliance. Make some outer sect executives to round some of them up as well. If some elders or venerables do not have disciples to kill, just pick some from there. With everyone having the same reputation, an escape wouldn't exist, and any that fails to do it will earn the wrath of the entire inner sect. Venerable Sher eyed each of them with a cold eye. Everyone nodded. Venerable Sher turned around. Venerable Chi, Venerable Bai, we may have had our differences, but we are up against a common enemy, sect leader. I hope you will join the fight for the greater good. If the inner sect collapses, so too will your interests. The two sighed and nodded. Venerable Sher beamed. With all oldies of the inner sect of one mind, Xia Wuyue's plan had no chance. More than half of the sect's power was held by elders and venerables. After setting up the details, they each went their merry way with a glint in their eyes and out for their disciples' blood. Whoever ran for the labor office will die. Grand Elder was about to go as well when Venerable Sher said, Grand Elder, please wait. Grand Elder turned to Venerable Sher's smile. I heard you've cast out your prized disciple into the labor office. Why? He violated the rules, and therefore he was sent there. Grand Elder said. Venerable Sher shook his head. Ha ha ha. Grand Elder, do you not trust me? With Gue, who being your pride and glory, no matter how vile the act was, you'd still not send him there. Moreover, after a couple of days of you sending him there, the elite labor office appeared. Venerable Sher has made a thorough investigation. Ha ha ha, Grand Elder chuckled. Fine, I'll tell you. When Gue, who lost to Juefan, and that girl asked to return to the labor office, it raised my suspicions. So I sent Gue, who earlier is a spy. The The sooner I know about what's going on, the easier it is to strike. Venerable Shur was stunned and praised the Grand Elder. Grand Elder's vision is so wide and selfless, even sending your prized pupil as a spy. Ha ha ha, it's nothing. Others weren't suitable, and I could only send Gui Hu. It pains me even now to think about it. Grand Elder waved his hand. Then, Venerable Shur, I'll be going. Please. Venerable Shur smiled. If you need anything, just ask. Grand Elder smiled and left. Venerable Shur failed to catch the subtle shift in his expressions. A heavy mood, nor did the Grand Elder see Venerable Shur's suspicion. As both parties were in doubt, neither revealed their treachery to the other meanwhile. Venerable Chi and Venerable Bai returned to Venerable Bai's home to discuss. No matter the regrets of dirtying their hands with their pupil's blood, they had no choice in the matter. Everyone was going to bear this cross, and so should they if they wanted to live on in this sect. Yet just as they entered the house, Yuling and Kuei Lang came bowing. Greetings, Master! Is something the matter? Venerable Bai asked, Yuling reported. Master, Steward Zhua has paid a visit. Steward Zhua? Who's that? The steward of the elite labor office, Zhua Fan. Kuei Lang bowed the Venerables, tense the mastermind behind all this mess. The boss of the elite labor office just came knocking. Since he is the sect leader's right hand in this plot, he must represent the sect leader. Venerable Bai sighed. No gift is ever free. For him to represent sect leader, it means sect leader wants us on his side. But who should we choose? Sect leader or the inner sect? Venerable Chi frowned in deep thought. Chapter 573, Negotiations. Chapter 573, Negotiations. Steward Zhua, forgive me for not showing you in. Entering the lounge, Venerable Bai saw a youth with white hair sitting there, the one and only labor that shook Gui Hu to the core in one blow, and bowed. Venerable Chi cupped his hands as well, but more for his status than Zhua Fan himself. Ugh! Zhua Fan waved them. Venerable Chi and Venerable Bai, I presume. You're too kind in your favor for little old me. I am but a laborer. How could I possibly have venerables show me such courtesy? Steward Zhua, no true ruler is without capable men. With Steward Zhua making the labor office a hot commodity, respect is more than deserved. Venerable Chi smiled. Zhua Fan nodded with a smile as he got down to it. Since venerables have already guessed that I work for the sect leader, then you must have also guessed the purpose of my visit. Ugh. The two paused, and Venerable Bai sighed. We understand sect leader's design, but not his actions. We are venerables, giving our all for the sect and not tangling with unnecessary squabbles. I mean, we are part of the inner sect and cannot follow the sect leader's request. Venerable Chi sighed. Putting on a pained face, Zhua Fan figured as much since the start and smiled. The elder and venerable meeting had long since finished, yet everyone stayed behind even as the sect leader left. Did you perhaps come up with a secret plan? The venerables shook their heads in unison. No comment. I can pretty much guess, anyway. Uniting the entire inner sect in the face of this adversity. Zhua Fan snickered and eyed the wooden venerables. But did you ever wonder what you'd do afterwards? The venerable's brow shook. Zhua Fan knew he had them and drove in for the kill with a shout. Kuei Lang, Yuling, your masters have asked for you. The venerables eyed him suspiciously. Kuei Lang and Yuling came bowing. What can we do for you, master? Nothing much. They've been bored as of late and wanted to know about your life over the past decade in the labor office. Zhua Fan cut in the four were stumped about his point. But since the venerables stayed silent, the two acquiesced to Zhua Fan's request. How despised they were, how they grew accustomed to the mean looks, the fighting in the labor office, the many brushes with death, and the blood and sweat they shed to work their way to the top of the labor office as the story came to a close. The two's eyes went red, reliving those moments of pain. Yet the venerables hadn't even flinched. Are you done? Venerable Bai asked, Steward Joie, what is this? You don't feel it. Joie Fan raised an eyebrow. The venerables shook their heads. Venerable Chi chuckled. Steward Joie, you're too green. The path of demonic cultivators is wrought with pain and injustice. Labor office is just a phase in their long tempering. Did you think we'd be sad over our disciples' pain and loss? How is that, a demonic cultivator? Was this what I had you feel? Joie Fan shrugged. What I meant was, who was the catalyst to their bitterness? Who was it that laughed in their face? It matters not that they were ridiculed. But who did the ridiculing in the end? Shaking, the venerables caught on at last. Joie Fan grinned. They were framed, but that's their own stupidity to blame. Yet the culprit did it with blatant disregard of their masters, you. And why did you work so hard to have the two back under you? Wasn't it because you had no one else under you to use after they were sacked? Oh, the horror! Disciples are of little value, yes, but you two just laid there getting bitch-slapped and didn't even twitch. I, for one, take my hat off. I sure as hell couldn't accept it. Touching my disciples is raising their hands at me. Venerable Chi said just now that I am green. Ha ha ha. True, I am still very much green. Many things I can't stand, even being called a bastard. Enough. Venerable, I snapped in anger. Joie Fan, I am showing respect to you out of kindness to the sect leader. Don't push it. Did I? Have I slapped Venerable's faces? Joie Fan snickered. That guy bitch-slapped you for decades, and yet you still want to be his errand boys. Well, I haven't been in the sect for long and cared for your dear disciples. Yet you want to make me the enemy while keeping him as your ally. Who's the excessive one here, and who's despicable? The two glared as their fists tensed, and their beards shook. They soon had had enough. Joie Fan, enough of your taunts. All the elders and venerables of the inner sect are in this together. We rise and fall as one. Go back and tell the sect leader, thank you, but no thank you. Now, don't be too hasty. Aren't you all fighting to get the same thing, resources? But did you ever wonder that once all this blows over, if they'll get the pie while you get the scraps, when the inner sect is finished, we won't even have the scraps? Venerable, I was finally honest. Joie Fan smiled, having got what he wanted. I can give you what you want. Since the inner sect has no scraps, you are welcome to join the labor office to revel in a juicy pie. What? The two shouted their disbelief in unison. Joie Fan said, to be totally honest, the labor office is overcrowded and needs elders or venerables supervision. If sirs find it appropriate, you are welcome to the labor office to take over. In plain words, sect leader wants elite labor office to become the new inner sect for raising elites. Even with how deep-rooted inner sect is, it'll only be a matter of time before it's empty. Venerable Sure is in control of the inner sect. He gets the pie and you get the scraps. But by coming to the labor office now, you'll get the pie and he won't even get to touch the scraps. You do not have to stick with them. Come now and enjoy the most, or later and you get nothing. Their eyes twitching, the Venerable's heart shook. Sect leader wants a new inner sect, but the elite labor office is too fresh and who knows how long it'll last. The danger is high. Joie Fan pierced their doubts with his sharp eye and revealed 2 vials. The two gasped at the thick miasma, even felt their blood flowing smoother. 10th grade pill! The heaven-reaching pill, to be exact. Just a little token. Joie Fan smiled. If you still find it suspicious, you're welcome to get more people to join. For every elder or venerable coming to the labor office, I'll offer an 8th grade pill. 8th grade. Yes, Joie Fan smiled. Since you'll be the mediators, you'll receive a bigger reward for your efforts. The rest will only get 8th grade. But you better work fast, the spots are limited. What would I do with more elders and venerables than disciples? The two came to understand Joie Fan's true plan. He didn't just want to poach the inner sect's pillars, but its disciples as well and turn it into an empty husk. Such deadly tactics would leave the inner sect crushed and ruined. That being said, if some oldies and disciples jumped boat in favor of the labor office, then the inner sect would have no worth. By working in tandem, sect leader and Zhuo Fan will spell the end of the inner sect as we know it. Sitting here any longer would make us cannon fodder. Switching sides was a much more sensible choice since Zhuo Fan and their disciples were close. The sooner they joined the labor office, the more benefits they'll receive. The two's eyes flashed and they nodded. We agree to join you and will even rope in others worthy of trust. Perfect, with the inner sect rotten. I have just the place for you to leave your mark. Welcome aboard. Zhuo Fan's trademark evil smile was back in business. Chapter 574, Dragon Soul Rumor. Chapter 574, Dragon Soul Rumor. Master, you're back. In the demon scheming sect's cemetery, Gui Hu, Taiying, Kuei Gang, and Yuer were overlooking the 4 doors. While Elder Yuan took stock of the new laborers and sent them here, the once desolate and eerie cemetery had become a popular spot for eager laborers. Yuer cried out, seeing Zhuo Fan approaching. Kuei Gang grumbled. Master, where have you been for the past 3 days? We've been working hard here, and you were goofing off. It's wandering off. You better remember that, brat. Zhuo Fan smiled and bopped his head. Kuei Gang pouted in annoyance. Isn't it the same thing? Just where could you wander off in the demon scheming sect? Gui Hu hesitated before muttering. Steward Zhuo, you said you'll let me stay by your side. Could you take me with you the next time you go? Ha ha ha. I know what you mean, but this time was different. Zhuo Fan grinned. Besides getting the 2 venerables, he used the past few days to pay a visit to other known disciples. Kuei Lang and Yu Ling pointed out poaching had become a walk in the park for him, knowing each side's reasoning fully well. And besides all that, getting the disciples had a far greater impact than some oldies. He didn't take Gui Hu since he was Grand Elder's disciple. While the guy came to him to train for the Double Dragon gathering, he would rather play it safe when it came to pulling the carpet from under the other party. Gui Hu understood his reasoning and nodded. Elder Yuan spoke up. Steward Zhuo, for the past few days, the line of inner and outer disciples has been thinning. Of no importance. It's up to them if they want to come or not. We can't force them. Zhuo Fan waved his hand and turned to Gui Hu's group. What are you four standing around for? Get back to your stations. And you, Gui Hu, keep that heavy savage energy hidden. You need to show restraint. That's why I've placed you here to supervise, to train your heart and learn restraint. They all nodded and returned to their posts. Only Elder Yuan remained and smiled at Zhuo Fan. He knew Zhuo Fan only said it for the 4 kids' sake, while he had a different intention sure enough. Zhuo Fan began with a sigh. Young ones are too green in handling affairs. It's not that I don't trust them, but fear they will be rash and expose your plan. I know, ha ha ha, Elder Yuan laughed. Zhuo Fan said, Elder Yuan, I've been running around the inner sect these past few days and noticed that the old geezers are making a move to curb the disciples' new trend. They noticed our plan then. They have to get a grip on their disciples, and no amount of effort on our part will change that. The sect's situation has always been up to the people's trend. Venerable Sure is too sharp to not notice it. Elder Yuan turned heavy. Zhuo Fan mocked. Be that as it may, too bad the inner sect isn't so tough after all. The oldies are too much at odds with each other, even as they band together to weather the storm. All I need is to instigate them, and a crack shall form, and with a few promises, they'll turn faster than flipping a book. Venerable Qi and Bai will do the splitting for me, while with Kuei Lang and Yu Ling's help I've got some strong inner disciples on board. The favor I gave them is showing its worth. I am amazed how Steward Zhuo's every step is calculated and controlled. Ha ha ha, Elder Yuan laughed. Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes. Please, I had to waste 2 10th grade pills for those venerables. And that's just the start. For the other oldies, I will have to give an 8th grade pill each. I'll be ruined at this rate. Are you running low? How much do you have left? Elder Yuan jerked. Once Zhuo Fan's pockets ran dry, the plan would be shot and flushed down the drain. Zhuo Fan squinted. Why do you care so much? You think I don't know that just after telling you that I can raise a sect, the next second Xia Liue came telling me to do so. Think I'm stupid? Telling you about my wealth will make you do everything to make me spend it all. That means you have plenty to spare, ha ha ha. Great. Elder Yuan nodded and smiled like a weasel. Zhuo Fan's mouth twitched, though he didn't care that much. He could keep up with the expenses for a long, long time, but that didn't mean he wanted to. The faster he finished this plan, the faster he paid back Xia Wui's favor and would be free. He never once cared about the demon's scheming sect. It was all for the sake of being able to leave. If there was one place he'd rather spend his time at, it was that new little house. Elder Yuan noticed it as well and sighed. The kid has no connection to the sect, even with his 2 disciples here. Elder Yuan smiled. Steward Zhuo, you've gone to such lengths and spent so much for the sect, and having received nothing in return must have put you in a bad mood. Then let me tell you a secret rumor that might be of little help. What rumor? Is it Xia Wui's gossip? Next time, I'll smack that greedy little bugger and take out my resentment on him so that you never get another idea about my pockets, ha ha ha. Elder Yuan's face twitched, and he chuckled. Steward Zhuo, please don't joke. I'm being honest here. The rumor comes from the Western lands, and only the higher-ups of the sects are privy to it. I only got to hear about it by playing lackey to an alchemist. It is about the secret of the dragon vein soul. Dragon vein soul? That caught Zhuo Fan's attention. You mean that 9 dragons' diamond body? Elder Yuan smiled in disdain. That's just a waste of dragon soul's power. What do you mean? Zhuo Fan turned serious ethereal stage expert, say. With the 9 dragon souls in one's body, anyone who can withstand their torture while under ethereal stage will achieve the 9 dragons' diamond body and enter the ethereal stage on the spot. But this path is a waste because his soul would become that of an earth dragon soul, no different than those other 9 dragon souls. So when meeting another ethereal stage expert, your body may be tough, but your soul will be weaker. The better way of using dragon souls is the 10 dragon soul convergence, conjoining heaven and earth, activating the heaven vein and drawing the 9 heaven dragons' powers into yourself to form the heaven dragon soul. It is beyond anything the earth dragon soul can achieve. This soul's natural aura can quell another soul and make battles far easier. Rumor has it that the earth dragon soul is a top soul, but lacks in both attack styles, and one could only skip 2 layers while the heaven dragon soul can skip 5. What? Zhuo Fan was astounded, having never heard of anything related to heaven dragon soul. Closing his eyes, Zhuo Fan recalled the 9 Serenities' secret records and its contents, but nothing about it was mentioned. Not even the 9 Serenities Emperor knew. Though there was one thing that drew his attention pertaining to the true dragon soul. Sacred Domain's dragon race had the dragon tomb where its generations were buried and the dragon power ran strong. By using it to refine the soul, the strongest dragon soul would take shape, but that place was the dragon race's restricted area, under tight guard going there, as anything but an ethereal stage was a death wish, while after reaching the ethereal stage, one lost a crucial chance to form their soul, so no one would think of going there to refine a true dragon soul. But from Elder Yuan's words, this heaven dragon soul sounds like a soul formed by refinement of the dragon tomb's dragon power. I can't steal it in the sacred domain, but I can in the mortal domain. Elder Yuan knew. He was puzzled and continued. The 10 dragons open the heavens and provide one with the timing to enter the ethereal stage. Though lacking in the 9 dragons' diamond body's toughness, it matters not when soul is all that counts in the ethereal stage. In the Western lands we are in, only double dragon sects, exalted double dragon, managed to achieve the heaven dragon soul. Chapter 575, Explosive. Chapter 575, Explosive. Exalted double dragon. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow. It sounds like it's connected to the double dragon gathering. Elder Yuan nodded. Ha ha ha. The double dragon gathering is something Double Dragon Manor set up. You'll know of its importance in due time. Exalted Double Dragon is the leader of Double Dragon Sect. Be it the 9 dragons' diamond body or 10 dragons opening the heavens, they all came from them. It is the source of the highest martial arts in Western lands. Calling them the top of Western lands isn't without reason. What about Dan Qingxin then? Wasn't he the best in Western lands? Zhuo Fan, asked Elder Yuan, shook his head. What if I told you Dan Qingxin was Exalted Double Dragon's only disciple? Dan Qingxin came from Double Dragon Manor. Those two were visionaries that never took disciples. Even to otherworldly talents, all they did was guide them. The only exception being Dan Qingxin, the genius seen once every 10 millennia, to whom they both poured their heart and soul into teaching. He exceeded his masters and became the best in Western lands. But because of a falling out which threw Western lands in chaos, Dan Qingxin left without a word. That's why the best in Western lands is Exalted Double Dragon. Elder Yuan sighed. Exalted Double Dragon might not even want this title, having lost such an amazing disciple they might never meet again. Zhuo Fan eyed Elder Yuan and nodded. Few are those that can see the diamond in the rough, while a true eye for talent might not even find the most dazzling gem of them all. Having been a master himself, Zhuo Fan understood the desire to pass on one's legacy. Elder Yuan calmed to sorrow and said, Steward Zhuo, by seeing the Earth Dragon's soul on you last time, I surmised you'd want to tame the 10 dragons opening the heavens. The dangers are great, and even your soul might be at risk of annihilation from the dragon power. But with your talent, you can give it a try. It's lucky that you're in the profound heaven stage, and will take some time to reach ethereal stage. Just gather the 10 dragon souls. I got 9. Zhuo Fan scratched his head. Elder Yuan was flabbergasted. Why, you have 9 earth dragon souls, all tucked away in my body. Now all I have to do is get the 10th and see if the 10 dragons opening the heavens is worth it. Zhuo Fan rubbed his chin in thought, disregarding the incredulous look from Elder Yuan as he said, You have 9 dragon souls inside you, yet you still have not refined them? Don't you fear being devoured? By who? Those cowardly reptiles. Zhuo Fan snorted and revealed the azure flame. Elder Yuan, I've told you before, this soul flame targets the soul. I just use it to turn those reptiles into meek little earthworms. You might as well say they're sealed. Zhuo Fan grinned, and Elder Yuan was speechless. The great 9 dragon souls were actually chilling in his body. That's the same as caging 9 dragons. No matter how sturdy the cage, they'll still lash out like savage beasts and tear you from the inside. Yet, Zhuo Fan had them standing in the corner, like weak lambs. Elder Yuan was still out of it. What is this azure flame to quell the deadly earth dragon soul? I got them back in Tianyu from someone training in 9 dragons' diamond body. I was considering using the 9 dragons' diamond body to enter the ethereal stage, but abandoned the thought as it made my cultivation unstable. Now that I've heard of the 10 dragons opening the heavens, I can only rejoice at my right decision to wait it out. Zhuo Fan smiled. Elder Yuan nodded and sighed. Steward Zhuo, your farsightedness is beyond anything I know. I would have long since entered the ethereal stage if I were you. Why, thank you. Zhuo Fan felt much freer now. In his past life, he never thought of achieving the heaven dragon soul, but now that he had the dragon souls, his luck truly was off the charts. In a fortnight, a shocking event took the demon scheming sect by the storm. Venerable Qi and Venerable Bai, as well as hundreds of oldies, petitioned Xia Hua to be transferred to the labor office to supervise it. Their disciples were to follow, as well. Venerable sure suffered a crushing blow, finding himself in an inner sect with a third of his original forces. It followed with many known inner disciples requesting sect leader to leave their brutal disciple-killing masters for the labor office. They were in the thousands. The requests of the disciples and the old-timers was explosive news, crushing the inner sect oldies' agreement of working together. The peace had held for 2 weeks, and then crumbled so fast Venerable Shi's faction had no way of retaliating. Xiaowiwa was over the moon, his ever-sour and grumpy mood uplifted as he stamped the requests with his seal of approval. The giddy look coming from him screamed, I'm the mastermind. Since he never showed such a bright smile to anyone, it only attested to how right they were in taking this course. With the sect leader behind them, their ex-masters couldn't touch them. The inner sect's new trend was such a rage that it infected the outer sect as well, and the disciples marched into the labor offices, open arms, regardless of the executives meddling. It resulted with the executives being split into two camps, pro-migration, and against it the sect was on the brink of war. What was once a united group for the common good and benefits, some of them just took off, leaving the rest hanging. Crack! An exquisite piece of china lay there in pieces, suffering the wrath of Venerable Shur, Venerable Chi, Venerable Bai. Damn them all! They threw us all away and went to that damn labor office in public. The inner sect's rise and fall depends on all of us. The two might hate us, but they aren't so stupid to not see the bigger picture. Why then, Grand Elder mused, Venerable Shur's face was a mask of rage. Panting and confused how it had come to this, Second Elder rushed in with panic. Those that have changed sides in public are all tied to those wretched venerables. While Kuei Lang, Yu Ling, and a few other known disciples organized in secret and waited for the right chance to explode into action. They played us. What's the use of stating the obvious now? I only want to know who put them up to this. It's been so long under wraps that it had to be premeditated, but sect leader's character is known to be watched within the sect. No one wants to play with the bull and get the horns. He always does things with an iron fist and forgoes subtleties. Who is responsible for setting them on this path? Find him out. Venerable Shur glared at the Second Elder, shuddering. The old man reported, Venerable Shur, I have been listening, and sect leader isn't the one who got them to act. It was Zhuo Fan, the one everyone calls Steward Zhuo, the founder of the elite labor office. The same one who interfered with the inner sect competition. Venerable Shur asked. Second Elder bobbed his head. Yes, him. They say he is incredible, a power unlike any profound heaven cultivator should have. We've caught a glimpse of it in that ring. But what is even more frightening is his calculative mind, his insidious plots, paling even sect leaders. While sect leader uses force, he employs a softer touch, the carrot and the stick. Besides the two venerables, regardless of who he meets, elder, venerable, or disciples, anyone who had even a modicum of discontent with us were incited to turn on us. Through rewards and threats, they all caved in the end to his mind games. How is it that you know so much about what they talked about? Venerable Shur eyed him. Second Elder sighed. I went to visit an elder that switched to the labor office to find more information, only to be cursed and berated, saying something about taking his female disciple a decade ago, and that I even flaunted it in his face, that we are now enemies. He also has a vile temper, and in his rant he revealed how the kid antagonized him against us with a few honeyed words. I then realized that the kid not only uncovered past grudges, but also gave them an 8th grade pill. I reckon that was what sealed the deal. An 8th grade pill. Why didn't he come to me as well? I'd come willingly. Second Elder sighed in greed. Venerable Shur snorted. Why would he come to you when he was after those unreconciled people? He'll never trust you, knowing you stuff your pockets by emptying mine. We are the true winners in the inner sect. It is our turf. Or would you rather be without a home and at another's mercy? Second Elder chuckled. Yes, he'd go for the pill, but would soon be coming back, recalling where he left his cash cow. Zhuo Fan, a mere laborer of exceptional skill. I have no choice but to meet you myself. Venerable Shur squinted. Chapter 576, Warning. Chapter 576, Warning. Make sure you know your limits before stepping into the heaven door. Even I had a high risk of dying. Kuei Lang stood there with an inquisitive look before the rumbling door, and just as he took a step, a voice entered his ears. He saw Kuei, who standing before the door with disdain. Kuei Lang hesitated. Senior brother Kuei, who? Don't try to scare me, and just tell me how dangerous it is. Since my son cleared a 7th grade array, I can do it too. I'm not so stupid to fall for your threats. Kuei, who rolled his eyes and ignored him. Your funeral. Kuei Lang was stuck between advancing and retreating. It was then that Kuei gang rushed over. Don't do it, Dad. You'll die. Even senior brother Kuei, who had to pay a heavy price. Kuei Lang was scared away. You mean he was serious? Is this 7th grade array that deadly? Master has set it up specifically to test elites. It's unlike the one I trained in. Kuei Gang nodded with a serious look, his brow soaked. Kuei Lang sighed and wiped it before going for the earth door and asking, Son, is this safe? This one's easier. Senior Brother Tai Ing cleared it at the peak profound heaven stage. If I can't get a 7th grade demonic treasure, I guess 6th grade is better than nothing. Kuei Lang grinned excitedly. In his charge for the door, he heard a wail coming from it. Son, this one isn't easy either, I see. Yu Ling and her sister were just coming over and giggled at him. It was a scene most common of late before the 4 doors in the sect cemetery. With the oldies from the inner sect came so many disciples. The labor office was packed. The lines to challenge the trials were never ending. Everyone was excited to jump right in. Everyone wanted those demonic treasures and pills guaranteed to them once they cleared a door. Such a treatment surpassed even the inner sect. The oldies were giddy too. The easier the gains for their disciples, the more they got in the end as well. The greed was so thick in their heads that they'd be testing themselves too if they could. Just to get those goodies, Venerable Bai nodded again and again with a smile. This is why every disciple rushed to Steward Zhua's elite labor office like crazed shoppers. I'd brave offending my own master too if I could get in here. But I'm not a disciple anymore. All that matters in the end is personal strength. No matter where you can raise it, even in the labor office, that is the best place to be. Venerable Bai is right. The other old guys bobbed their heads. Zhuo Fan smiled and pointed at the doors in succession. Elders, Venerables, the elite labor office is in the inner sect. It's not based on competition, but trials. Each one of you is free to guide your disciples, but the result may not necessarily be in their favor. In these trials, strength isn't the definitive answer for overcoming them. That's good. Now, there will be no need to play tricks for those little resources. It will be the best thing for the disciples' cultivation. Venerable Qi laughed, the rest agreed. They were losers in the inner sect, being robbed of their disciples through all kinds of weird accidents, while here, in this pure environment, they were free and laughing. Venerable Bai took a moment to ponder. Then his eyes lit up. The elite labor office uses trials, so the disciples do not resort to petty tricks. The 4 trials are fair, but as people are lazy by nature, few hardly consider themselves the opponent, driving to better themselves. That's why the inner sect adopted competition as a solution to raise tough disciples. While the labor office uses trials, yet still manages to instill excitement into them for cultivation with its large reward as a lure. But to put it in effect, a huge amount of resources are needed. Steward Zhua, I don't know where you got so many resources to implement this plan, but it can't go on forever. When the resources dry up, won't we return to the same situation as in the inner sect? The oldies turned to Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan hid a smile. Venerable Bai has a good head on his shoulders. Yes, the reward is only temporary, to squash the inner sect and steal their authority. Once the inner sect is done for, every high disciple will be in the labor office, and I can do whatever I want with it and not bleed money every day. The high rewards would have to stop and only be placed on the top disciples, leading to the same situation as the inner sect, and no skin off my back. His mission would be over and done with, and he would be home free. Why the hell would he waste away in this sect? He was not stupid, nor a glory hound. People, it is not for you to worry about, but the sect leader. That being said, even if it gets to that, you won't lose anything, but win all the same. Aren't you the first to join us? Zhuo Fan snickered, their hearts chilled, and picked up on Zhuo Fan's meaning, obvious from that vague smile. So what if it does become the inner sect? They were pushed aside in the inner sect, with Venerable Shi taking everything for himself. But here, they are the bosses. They would get the biggest slice. They become Venerable Shi. They laughed inside and bowed. Steward Zhua is wise beyond his years. Sect leader chose the perfect candidate for this job. Thank you, thank you. Zhuo Fan returned the gesture with hidden disdain. He had not once thought of himself as being part of the in-crowd of the sect, and had no qualms about where Demon's scheming sect was heading. But these guys, the big shots of the sect, only cared about their own behind and pockets. One actually had the wisdom to see what would come to pass, yet shot him down in 2 shakes. Now I see why Xiahua said the sect is rotten, and from the way I see it, the rot runs deep. If this ever happened in the Luo clan, he'd be dealing death left and right. The only reason I'd ever get you in the Luo clan is for my sake, not yours. Whoosh! A white figure entered there, eyes venerable by cried. Grand Elder, why are you here? Master. Gue, who looked from a distance, Grand Elder only spared him a glance and turned to Zhuo Fan. Steward Zhuo, I presume. Nice to meet you. I am the Grand Elder of the Demon Scheming sect, wishing to discuss something with you. May we go to a more private place? Steward Zhuo, this old-timer must be up to something. Don't go. Venerable by sent him a secret message. Zhuo Fan shrugged. I'm the sect leader's man. Since they've approached me in the open, they won't do anything to me. It's fine. Zhuo Fan took 2 steps closer to Grand Elder with a smile. I am but a laborer and flattered that Grand Elder would bother himself to invite me in person. We may go. Grand Elder's brow shook while the other oldies gave a nod of admiration. Elite labor office and the inner sect were at war. Grand Elder ought to have come to deal with him. Yet he still agreed without fear. Such valor, such manner, all inspired respect. The young are bold. Sect leader entrusted his plan to you for the right reasons. Grand Elder nodded and flew away. Zhuo Fan followed the 2, soon arrived at a creek, where a man was waiting. Venerable Sure, why could you have asked me to? Give it a rest. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands, and Venerable Sure cut him off. You're just Xia Wuyue's pawn, an expendable cannon fodder. Why do you insist on getting on every venerable and elder's bad side? It will only work against you for your future stay in the sect. Zhuo Fan deflected. Am I supposed to offend sect leader instead? My end will come even faster. Humph, the ignorance of youth. You think Xia Wuyue can help you? Wrong. He's only letting you take the fall. Venerable Sure said. By establishing an elite labor office, you've made an enemy out of every elder and venerable. While Xia Wuyue would use you to take all our power, he'll still need us to manage the sect. How do you think he'll appease our anger? He'll throw you to the wolves, a truly tragic fate. Zhuo Fan pondered and let a snicker slip. Am I not still alive? Think again. Venerable Sure squinted and exploded with power, enveloping Zhuo Fan in endless thirst for blood. Chapter 577. 3 Fiends of Hell. Chapter 577. 3 Fiends of Hell. SSS. Zhuo Fan faltered back 3 steps with a frown and a pained look. Venerable Sure's soul pressure felt like the whole world was on his shoulders, and he almost activated Azure Flame's self-defense, but Zhuo Fan chose to bear it. Staring defiantly, Venerable Sure's eyes shook with surprise and wonder from his tough character. You're not afraid? That's my line. Zhuo Fan broke out in a grin. I'm not just any labor you can touch. Make your move. See what sect leader has to say about it. Who'd he pick, I wonder? The pawn you keep droning about, or some oldies? You didn't think this through, did you? Venerable Sure took back his show of force and nodded. So that's why Xia Wuyue entrusted everything to you. You don't lack a spine. In any case, remember my words. Sooner or later you will leave his protection. Thanks for the tip. I'll be sure to treasure it. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands. If that is all, Venerable Sure, I'll be going now. Venerable Sure's eyelids twitched, but he waved him off in the end. Zhuo Fan smiled and flew away. Grand Elder sighed. He sure is something. Just a profound heaven stage in cultivation, and yet could hold his own under your soul pressure. His own soul must be tough, tougher than a peak radiant stage. He is a talent of exceptional quality, and that's not the worst of it. He actually managed to make me feel fear, even if for an instant, from his ineffable calm. Venerable sure squinted. His gall is impressive, but unlike others who bluster with misplaced confidence or are rash, his calm comes from complete control of the situation. This tells me that he isn't just a pawn, but the true mastermind. Grand Elder nodded. Indeed, he got us where it hurts the most and knew we won't touch him at such a critical time. That is why he came behind enemy lines so carefree. He is of the leading stock, and may even be the next sect leader. Venerable Shi's silence was answer enough. Another Xia Wu no, even more dangerous in fact. Venerable Shi, sighed Grand Elder, looked around. What is our next move? Force won't help us here. With all of us elders and venerables in the inner sect having the same interests, nobody can use force, especially now with so many disciples turning on us. By my reckoning, there will only be more people going to the labor office in the days to come. Our grip on them has slipped. Venerable Shi's eyes flashed. However, since we can't touch him, I'm sure we can find someone who can. Since they used disciples to destroy us, we'll pay them back with the same coin. Ha ha. Venerable Shi cackled as Grand Elder fell silent. Whoosh! Zhuo Fan returned to the cemetery, and Venerable Bai came to him the next second. Steward Zhuo, is everything all right? I was about to take the rest and make them answer for detaining you. Ha ha ha, it's fine. They aren't fools. Fighting is the worst option for them. I was confident in this estimate. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow the next second, looking at the 4 doors because there were no disciples around them, but only oldies, so why would it catch his attention if they were watching over them? Venerable Bai chuckled. Oh, almost forgot. Steward Zhuo. Someone wants to meet you. Me. Zhuo Fan eyed Venerable Bai. Who? Come. Venerable Bai had a vague smile as the two walked past the crowd. 3 people surrounded the doors while commenting and nodding like critics. One was a portly man in yellow, wobbling his lard ass in excitement. The second was a lanky man with a face in a perpetual frown, while the last one was an impeccable gentleman. Though his attire spoke of his grace, his face was a thorough disappointment due to his plain features. The trio were escorted by the oldies as if the sect leader was coming for inspection, hanging on their every word and sucking up to them. Venerable Bai chuckled. Venerables, Steward Zhuo has come. Whoosh! The wobbling butt froze, and the jiggling belly twisted around to let the guy see Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan, we meet at last. The incoming bear hug grew bigger and bigger as he laughed. Ha ha ha, genius. Join our elite area. Wait, hold up, who are you, sirs? As the fatty was barreling for him. Zhuo Fan waved all over the place. Venerable Bai smiled. Steward Zhuo, they're elite instructor venerables. Fiend Yang, Fiend Yin, and Fiend Gue. They go by the name 3 Fiends of Hell. Along with sect leader back in the day, they went by 4 Fiends of Hell, geniuses who survived the Double Dragon gathering. A real man does not boast, Venerable Bai. Don't do that, ha ha ha. The fatty waved at him to stop with a smug face. Reminiscing about the good old days, Zhuo Fan chuckled inside. What's so great about coming back alive? Is that something to take pride in? Or is Double Dragon gathering such a hellish place that even keeping your life is commendable? The fatty caught Zhuo Fan's doubtful expression, and his smile froze the other 2 side, knowing full well that it was hardly something to be smug about. Though it didn't make coming out alive from that deadly place any easier, Zhuo Fan cupped his hands. Venerable sirs, to what do I owe this honored visit? Fiend Yang was the one to reply. Zhuo Fan, you've done a great job with the elite labor office. Sect leader is so proud that he had us come here to tell you that besides the set of demonic treasures you owe him, you are to make 3 more for each of us. Zhuo Fan was crying. Venerable sirs, aren't you getting it all wrong? After commending and lauding me, you should be rewarding me and not asking for more things from me. The trio laughed. The fatty waved his hand. Ha ha ha, you can't even take a joke. Sect leader has decided that these disciples can become the pillars of the sects in terms of quality and quantity. Hence, he will allocate half of the inner sect's resources for training these budding experts. In addition, you'll have elite spots as well, but it will depend on their strength to take as many as they can. Say what? The oldies were over the moon. They figured this might happen, for the elite labor office to become the new inner sect, but that was going to be much later, yet fortune smiled upon them, with the sect leader coming to this decision overnight. And by the sound of it, they'd get all the elite spots as well. It only spelled the end of the inner sect. They all quaked in excitement and shock happy that they made the right choice in jumping ship. They could practically see the future of the elite labor office under sect leaders' grasp, but with plenty of resources going their way since they were the first wave of oldies to join. As for Venerable Shur's faction and stubborn disciples, it would only get worse from here. All of them sported creepy grins. Enjoying another's misfortune, Zhuo Fan nodded. That's great. The elite labor office is on the right track, and I'm one step closer to finishing my mission. When will the elite selection take place, sirs? In 2 days, so get ready. And you'll be joining it as well, kid. No discussion. We have our sights on you, and you can't escape. Fiend Yang laughed. Zhuo Fan said, but I'm just a labor. What's wrong with that? Look around you, they're all laborers. With so many promising inner and outer disciples coming here, not letting laborers enter the elite area is tantamount to suicide. I bet the sect leader will call a meeting of elders in a couple of days to talk it over. With so many venerables and even more to come, this decision is as good as made. Fiend Yang pointed at the old guys, and they nodded on cue. Their pockets were going to get lined up based on elite labor office's development. They had to crush the old rule no matter what. Fiend Yang turned serious. Boy, you've done a great job getting to change the sect's rule. This has hardly ever happened in the sect's thousands of years of history. Everyone looked at Zhuo Fan with respect and praise. Zhuo Fan chuckled, inclined to disagree on this assessment. He was only playing his act, granted on a grand scale, at the whims of the one on top who gave him the script. The leader wasn't him by far. He'd never take this role of pawn in the past, but now he couldn't care less. Like an outsider, he could leave just like he came in. The situation had no pull on him. This realization made his heart thump, his eyes shining. I'm advancing again. Chapter 578, Seclusion. Chapter 578, Seclusion. Then Zhuo Fan went through a long and equally pointless discussion with the 3 venerables before finally leaving. Yet, not before giving repeated warnings about their share of demonic treasures. Zhuo Fan kept silent. Wasn't it just a joke? I was never going to give Xia Wuiwa anything, not to mention you. Zhuo Fan smirked, having had enough of their senseless banter, and left as well, not before warning Venerable Bai, I have crucial matters to attend to. I'll leave you to handle the elite selection. Steward Zhuo, we are now elders of the labor office. We will do our very best. Venerable Bai smiled at long. Last Zhuo Fan felt the weight on his shoulders slip off. With perfectly capable managers around, he needn't worry about this place. Freedom. Zhuo Fan flew away in his newfound bliss, back to the shabby labor office place where he stayed. Elder Yuan was still looking after the laborers' cultivation, those that had yet to enter the elite labor office. These youths had never taken the old man seriously so far. He was so old, yet much weaker than everyone else. Why should he look after us? But since he had Zhuo Fan on his side, everyone showed respect. Elder Yuan watched the laborers with the same attentiveness as his grandsons. There's still 2 years until the next Azura Circle. Work hard and you can enter the elite labor office, freeing yourself from such an agonizing fate. The disciples nodded. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and nodded as well. Elder Yuan's wisdom was boundless, earning his admiration as well. The old man ought to be getting cocky now that he had a big shot on his side, yet reality showed otherwise. All that power did not get to his head. He was only becoming kinder and more nurturing. Zhuo Fan swore he had never seen someone's heart reach such a deep level in the countless experts he had fought. Not once. All that held Elder Yuan back was his poor foundation and interference for living up to his glorious potential. Anywho, The heart is what it all came down to, for experiencing the world and all its nuances. If the old man had been a powerful genius, getting his heart to reach such a deep level would be a truly difficult task. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Or having them both would uplift one to heaven. Zhuo Fan came to see in Xuanji's words through a different lens. The ex-demonic emperor had a stale life, filled with fighting and killing and comprehending the demonic way. It was for this reason that becoming even a saint was out of his reach upon finding the 9 Serenities' secret records. He thought his chance had come. But now it dawned on him that this rebirth was his true chance. Heaven offered him a second chance at walking the demonic path in a more profound and intricate way that his past self could never tread. Steward Zhuo, how come you're here? Elder Yuan broke him out of his rumination, having come over with the same flattering smile he had when they first met. Zhuo Fan saw endless wisdom in that smile. The weak had their own path of survival. It was something that he despised, but now saw the truth behind it, holding his heart. Zhuo Fan smiled. Elder Yuan, I am on the verge of a breakthrough. Could you tell me of a quiet place with no interferences? Weren't you advancing like it was nothing so far? Why are you so serious this time? Elder Yuan asked. Zhuo Fan shook his head. I can feel that this time will make me sore. I must get ready, lest I come to regret it for as long as I live. Then we can't have you disturbed. That is a warning coming from your heart. Elder Yuan turned serious, and then gave Zhuo Fan an odd look. Why are you so calm then? Even I am worried sick for you. Ha ha ha, no matter how crucial it is, be it success or failure, I can only do my best. Worry will only drag me down. Just doing my best, to glean into heaven and follow my heart. Elder Yuan approved. His heart has reached the blasé level. With such a heart, no demon will corrupt him. This is good, but the warning from the heart will pose some trouble. He should be fine. Elder Yuan's eyes flashed, and he smiled. Steward Zhuo, you've come to the right person. Having been in the demon's scheming sect for so long, I know many secluded areas. Some not even the sect leader or elders are aware of. Come with me. Elder Yuan walked into a glum forest with Zhuo Fan behind him an hour later. The two found themselves before a black cave. Steward Zhuo, this is the most remote and isolated place. No one will ever bother you here. But it's hardly far. Zhuo Fan entered the cave to find a stone bed, wooden rack, and a table, as well as a night pearl in neat order. Someone was living here, obviously. Did someone else cultivate here? Elder Yuan shrugged. Yeah, but he has long since sacrificed himself for the sect. It is the same alchemist I worked under. He likes peace and quiet, so he made a cave here to cultivate away from the ruckus of the sect. Best thing is that no one knows about this place. Why is everything so clean then? Someone lives here. Zhuo Fan frowned. Elder Yuan dismissed his worries. How can that be? I've only kept it clean for the memory of our times working together. You can break through in peace here. But, come on now, don't you trust me? It can't get any safer than this. You stay here while I activate the defensive array and no one will disturb you. Elder Yuan stopped any more questions from Zhuo Fan and ran like the wind, leaving him looking around anxiously. What if the owner comes back? I must get to the bottom of this before I can stay here. As he walked to the exit, the entire cave shifted with a hum as it was enveloped in hues of green. Zhuo Fan's heart jumped and knew he was in a barrier, but as an array grandmaster, he noticed this was a soul barrier, one set up by an ethereal stage expert. Are ethereal stage experts trying to hold me back? Elder Yuan giggled. Steward Zhuo, make yourself comfortable and focus on breaking through. No one will bother you. Or do you still doubt me? Zhuo Fan's eyelid twitched, and he shook his head at the soul barrier. He could have popped it open if it was just a simple array with his eye. But since an ethereal stage expert used his soul to supplement it, he was stuck unless he became stronger, which was not possible. Left with no choice, he chose to gamble and have faith in Elder Yuan. What man proposes, God disposes. Elder Yuan, I sure hope you are worthy of my trust. Zhuo Fan shrugged and went back inside. Elder Yuan chuckled with a shake of his head. Then his eyes took a somber look. What are you all doing here? Make sure the kids not disturbed. Not even by the sect leader. Yes, sir. An old voice replied, and the barrier rippled once, and vanished meanwhile. 3 fiends of hell and Xiaoyue were discussing in the great hall when to give elite labor office those elite spots when they felt the sudden power spike. They rushed outside the hall. 5 green beams pierced the skies from within the forest before vanishing. And with them, so too did a patch of trees, Fiend Yang cried. Isn't he that? Impermanence, 5's vicissitudes, barrier. Fiend Een frowned. Fiend Gue closed his fan. That means. High Venerable. Xiaoyue's eyes flashed with doubt. In seclusion, Venerable sure showed a twisted smile from a mountain in the inner sect. Chapter 579. 10 Dragons Opening the Heavens. Chapter 579. 10 Dragons Opening the Heavens. Who? In the quiet cave and under the light of a blue flame. Zhuo Fan sat on the bed at peace and tranquil. He should be worried as to which ethereal stage expert trapped him here. Though in this particular instant he didn't. Letting it all go in favor of training his heart, it would have been a major concern years ago, but now his heart had achieved calm even in serious matters since they were looking after his best interests. Everything else was moot. He might as well go with it and handle his break through this realization only deepened his calm and turned the azure flame into a bigger blaze, unlike his previous advancements. His heart was warning him for days, which only made it all the more critical to be cautious. Zhuo Fan reckoned that the constant refining of his soul had something to do with it, as well as his heart improving here and there. All he needed was a spark to trigger this event, and that was where Venerable Shi's soul pressure came in. This advancement had been triggered by his soul, and that meant Radiant Stage was nigh skipping 2 layers without any supplements. From the 8th layer of Profound Heaven Stage, showed he had one exquisite soul. Kunpeng was right about one thing. Azure Flame is the best in refining the soul. Zhuo Fan broke out into a grin. No matter how suspicious he was of Kunpeng, the guy had always given him good stuff crack. The sound coming from his mind announced the expansion of the flame on his forehead. A mighty soul power churned his mind. Like a stormy sea, Zhuo Fan was both happy and startled. It was just like he thought, the sign of entering the Radiant Stage. He has had a Radiant Stage soul for ages now, and advancing to it would fill it with unseen power. He had no idea just how far it could go, and what it would become. His joy was short-lived, though, as the surging soul power rose and rose, threatening to burst his skull. The pain of having his head balloon was excruciating. One more push, and it would pop, but he bore through it, pushing back against the growing soul power to get it under control. No matter how useless it was, the ever-growing pressure got so big that it leaked outside and pulverized his bed and furniture. It spread in the entire cave. With no place left to go, Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth, working hard to settle this. He'd never have used the Azure Flame if he knew that reaching Radiant Stage would make his soul power multiply to such a degree. What do you get by multiplying a peak Radiant Stage soul? Death. As he kicked himself with regret, he recalled, right? Ethereal Stage comes after Radiant Stage. With so much soul power, it's got to condense. Zhuo Fan worked his cultivation method into controlling the rumbling soul power, while also giving it shape soul forming in the Radiant Stage. It was unheard of. Then again, so was having peak Radiant Stage soul power in Profound Heaven Stage. The soul's form was but the next step in a soul's strengthening. So why should he stick to the conventional stages when he had the right soul power? Besides, not doing it would leave him splattered across the walls. Zhuo Fan squinted and pushed his soul power with all his being. As to the form, the cultivation method would decide. Roar. It was now that the dragons lashed out. There's still those 9 Earth Dragon souls. I wanted the 10th to give the 10 dragons opening the heavens a try and see what's the deal with Heaven Dragon soul. But it's too late now. Since I'm stuck with an Earth Dragon soul, might as well do it right. He blended those dragon souls with his mighty soul power. The resulting clash released an almighty aura 9 dragons. Roars filled the cave, threatening to break it open. And as the dragon souls put pressure on the soul power, it soon took the shape of an earth dragon soul as the pressure ebbed on Juafan. He felt his power growing, nearing an ethereal stage expert's level, but then, as the 9 earth dragons fused, a mighty draconic cry came from his thunder ring. It made the 9 dragons separate then, and there Juafan eyed his ring in shock. Since when did my ring have a dragon soul? The dragon soul came out as it roared, along with Dugajantian's signature weapon, dragon-slaying crescent blade roar. The azure blade flickered with the image of a dragon roaming over it, unable to break out, only roaring while the 9 dragon souls were incited by it and roared as well. The 10th dragon soul is actually here. Talk about being a lucky stiff. Heaven's on my side. Marshal Dugu, you have my utmost gratitude for helping me even beyond the grave. Juafan was excited knowing the 10 dragons opening the heavens was around the corner. Whoosh. Lifting the blade, Juafan laughed. Dragon souls converge. 10 dragons opening the heavens. Dragon power of the heavens. Form the heavenly dragon. Bow to me and turn into the heaven dragon soul. Roar. The earth-shaking roar pierced the clouds, and the dragon-slaying crescent blade exploded in a golden glow as its dragon burst out. Soaring along its 9 brothers, the 10 dragon souls circled overhead, their heads and tails fusing into forming a ring. With a hum, the ring shone with a blinding white light. With a bang, the white light pierced the cave and shot for the heavens. The white beam of light connected the 9th heaven with the earth as draconic roars once again sounded. A prismatic glow rose, blending with the light beam and entering Juafan's soul. Juafan felt refreshed and powerful before he could celebrate, though. An even mightier pressure came in the form of a draconic roar like never before from the heavens above. Juafan spat blood then and there, his mind fried, while the mighty power converted into huge dragons charging into Juafan's soul and causing havoc. The excruciating pain made it feel like his mind might crack, his jaw shattering from grinding. But he steeled himself through it, forcing down on his soul in an attempt to quell the dragons from the heavens, no matter how futile it was to control even one dragon's heavenly power. Juafan had decided to stake it all. Somewhere else, a huge eye opened in the darkness, surrounded by flames and purple lightning. Humph! A human dares to draw on my dragon tomb's dragon power? It would rather devour you than let you form the dragon soul. Master, there are oddities among humans as well. Exalted Double Dragon did form the heaven dragon soul after all. A young voice echoed the huge I mocked. Those in this world that can actually take my dragon power can be counted on one hand. Humans never know their limits. You say Exalted Double Dragon formed a heaven dragon soul. But do you know how many countless others have tried and failed? The youth was speechless. The large I continued. Forming one of my dragon souls is a human's gamble with his life on the line. If it weren't for me being trapped here, you wouldn't even have that. Yes, master, but since it's so dangerous, do I have to go through it as well? Spare me with your excuses. Since you've caught my eye, of course you'll succeed. Or do you compare yourself to those village idiots? Only with my help will you ever succeed. Master, I'd never go against your will. I don't want the master to burn me alive. The youth panicked and steeled his determination. The huge I said, you better have at least that much bravery, or even if you flee to the sacred domain, I'll even risk being found out to tear you piece by piece. Now, are the 10 earthworms ready? Master, they're earth dragon souls. They're nothing but earthworms to me. All right, as you say, along with the youth's wry smile, draconic roars echoed. Chapter 580, Heaven Dragon Soul. Chapter 580, Heaven Dragon Soul. Rumble. A flashy beam of light pierced the cave and shot into the sky, and there was nothing Impermanence 5's barrier could do to stop it. Then came a huge pressure from the heavens, and the draconic roars assaulted this barrier. making even these seasoned experts bleed from the mouth with the shaking of the ground and the sect around them. They found it impossible to maintain the barrier under such might. What the hell is this kid doing in there to make such a scene? In the sect leader's hall, Xiaoyue shook and walked out, frowning at the beam of light. The High Venerable must have reached a crucial step indeed to enter seclusion. Venerable Sure, in his little courtyard, flew onto his roof and ruminated on the changes. Ha ha ha, no matter what fancy method High Venerable is using. The least of all, it'll keep him busy and out of my hair, ha ha ha. The whole sect was roused awake by the sudden commotion, the beam of light grabbing their attention. Everyone looked on with shock and doubt. What is happening? Whoosh! Elder Yuan appeared next to Impermanence 5, watching them go through signs with stern looks. Even as blood flowed from their mouths, they still wanted to maintain the barrier. Just what on earth happened to damage you so much? Who knows what that kid is cooking in there? It made the whole word tear and shake. Even we can't take it any more. Elder, she was sweating. We can't keep holding the vicissitudes barrier for too long. There's no way this is the kid's power. Just what crazy stunt is being pulled in there? Elder Yuan's brow shook, turning from the weary elders to the beam of light and the draconic roars. Adding the dragon power into the mix, his reaction grew more flabbergasted by the second. Why, you mean to tell me he's forming the heaven dragon soul? Is this the 10 dragons opening the heavens? That's impossible. Impermanence 5 cried together, with Elder she speaking for all when saying, he went in as a profound heaven cultivator. The most this advancement will take him is the radiant stage. Ethereal stage is too far away to condense his soul. Elder Yuan's eyelids twitched, shaking in confusion, but his eyes gleamed. I don't know, but it's following the legend of the 10 dragons opening the heavens. The next step should be the prismatic glow and the descent of the dragon soul. Others might come here in greed and interfere. Impermanence 5, we must stabilize the barrier and hide it. Elder Yuan's power exploded, and a yellow glow came out from his body along with a draconic roar. A golden dragon flew out of him. It circled the vicissitudes barrier. As its tail whipped around the entire barrier, the great power of Earth seeped into the barrier, while Impermanence 5 made signs before relaxing at last. Earth Dragon Soul, Crouching Dragon Seal! Elder Yuan shouted whoosh. The beam of light vanished, and the earth calmed down. The audience ended up scratching their heads. What? It's over! Break it up. That is a restricted area. Venerables and elders came to restore order by the order of sect. Leader, there was no need for him to say anything. It was clear as day to these oldies that messing with High Venerable's cultivation was a death sentence. Xia Wu returned inside. High Venerable's cultivation has succeeded, and now comes a period of acclimatization. Venerable sure smiled. It's over. At best, it should buy me 3 days in which the old man's recouping. Better make the most of it. While most figured this was the end, it was only the beginning for the storm brewing within the barrier. The beam of light shined brightly, only covered up under the combined work of 6 people following the constant, heavenly draconic roar. It went just as Elder Yuan said. With prismatic lights following the beam, and into Zhuo Fan's cave, images of dragons with fangs and claws roamed the beam as they tried going inside. This scene shocked them silly. The kid's actually forming a heaven dragon soul. Ha ha ha, genius I tell you. He's the second one in Western lands to form his soul so early. Our demon scheming sect finally has such a genius. Ha ha ha. Heaven is with our sect. Elder Yuan laughed, touched to the core, while the elders nodded. Being his guards was totally worth it. Elder, she chuckled. Elder Yuan nodded. So this is the reason behind the heart warning, to condense the soul. Then again, with his soul power going beyond common sense, all that was left was forming it. As a genius, he can't walk the common path. But the kid sure is paranoid, saying he has only 9 dragon souls when he had 10, ha ha ha. I was playing the lackey for nothing. Elder Yuan didn't show any remorse. His words might contain, though how was Zhuo Fan supposed to know that dragon-slaying Crescent Blade had a dragon soul within it? He was innocent in this, not that it mattered, as everyone wished for Zhuo Fan to finish up forming his soul and become the core of the sect revolution. 10 dragons opening the heavens is only the beginning. The crux is forming the heaven dragon soul. The dragon power from the 9th heaven is not something anyone can withstand. Elder, she was worried. Elder Yuan shook his head. Relax, the kid'll be fine. His cultivation and heart are at peak. He will succeed, ha ha ha. The 9th heaven dragon power wreaked havoc in Zhuo Fan's mind. He had been bearing through it all this time with clenched teeth and a still heart, pushing back with all he had to control it into condensing. While the prismatic glow slipped inside and gave Zhuo Fan's soul a dazzling hue of colors, Zhuo Fan rejoiced that his heart had evolved so much to allow him to cope with the dragon power and its tyranny up to this point, or he'd been crushed just by that increase of soul power alone. So while his head was a ticking time bomb, excruciating more and more by the second, a serene heart held him on the brink. He could let the pain in and out at will. A true blasé feeling with deep breaths, Zhuo Fan suffered the savage dragon power for the next 3 long days. The pain never let up, but his eyes showed unmistakable clarity under the onslaught these days. The dragon power lost its savagery bit by bit, forced into Zhuo Fan's soul. On the brink of fusing Elder Yuan and Impermanence 5 regarding outside the cave, it had all gone easy so far. But with High Venerable away, Venerable sure had a ball in the sect. He rang the bell for a meeting with the other venerables and elders to crush the elite labor office. Xiaoyu mocked him, while relaxing in his throne, totally content. And why wouldn't he be, when dozens more oldies had defected for the labor office? Their numbers equaled inner sects now. That being said, he had half of the inner sect under his control and could hold his own against Venerable Shi's faction. Venerable Shi, what is it this time? Speak. What grave matter has happened? Xiao said plainly. Venerable Shi said, Sect leader, I propose the dissolution of the elite labor office. Why? It's against regulations. A laborer must do what he's entitled to. With the inner and outer disciples going there is totally inappropriate. Venerable Shi said. Xia Wuiwa chuckled, letting Venerable by speak. A demonic sect holds strength supreme. For all the disciples to run to the labor office, it only goes to show how weak the inner sect is. Shouldn't it be the inner sect getting dissolved instead? Ha ha ha, true, true. Xia Wuiwa laughed. The great hall used to have sect leader and the rest, both sides eyeing each other like wolves, reduced to hating him in the fight to fill their pockets alone and weak. All he could do was put up a tough front before these old-timers, while now he had split their interests and got some on his side. This was the feeling of having a grand plan come to a head. Chapter 581, Red Herring. Chapter 581, Red Herring. Venerable Shi was unfazed by their union. Sect leader. Inner sect is the core of the sect. It has always been this way. Weakening it will weaken the sect. By siding with the labor office, sect leader neglects his duty and threatens our foundation by paying an impossible price. Xia Wuiwa admired Venerable Shi for his sound logic, no matter how run down the inner sect became. It was the root of the sect. Giving it all up in favor of a new one would be paying a heavy price. A price the sect couldn't afford, but it wasn't like the sect was paying for anything, was there? Zhuo Fan waltzed into the sect like a tycoon and left Xia Wuiwa free of worry. He wouldn't twitch even if he had to build 8 new inner sections. He wasn't the one paying. Ha ha ha. Venerable Shi, you're too anxious. The rise of the elite labor office is unstoppable, reaching the inner sex level in such a short time. Letting it all go would be such a waste. And besides, this is the merit of the labor office. I always give laborers a way out, no matter how hard it may be. Those that walk it are the cornerstones of our sect. Xia Wuiwa squinted. Since we're all here, I propose we make an exception to the rule and turn labor Zhuo Fan into an elite, on account of his outstanding contributions. What do you say? Venerable by nodded. Zhuo Fan is smart and talented. Becoming an elite for his merits is only just. I also propose that the labor office with its strong disciples is entitled to vie for the elite spots. It would be such a waste of talent to leave them there. Yeah, please allow it, sect leader. Venerable Bai's faction agreed on the spot. All the people who couldn't get anything back in the inner sect, Venerable sure knew about their desires very well. Ridiculous, as venerables and elders you dare defy the ancestral rule? Sect leader, the elite area has had clear rules since the dawn of our sect. Only the best can enter it, while the labor office is filled with hopeless rejects and criminals. Wasn't the High Venerable, even with his immense glory in coming out of the labor office, banned from being an elite as well? The ancestors had made this rule to prevent nepotism and the ruin of the sect, while Zhuo Fan and the rest, be it potential or strength, are among the best in the sect. Everyone can see it, and there's also the sect's rule. If anyone gains the approval of the majority of elders and venerables, he can become an elite. Who is against it? Venerable Qi, and by spoke up, we agree and go with the sect leader's decree. We agree as well. Labor office's side of oldies bowed. Venerable sure held his nose, knowing this was bound to happen. The opinions are halved and can't reach a decision. Labors do not care for rules, and will sow discord once in the elite area. This decision is not to be made rashly. Yeah, Venerable Shirt is right. Intersex faction bobbed their heads, but a loud voice cut him off. Enough of your goddamn blabbering. This here's a demonic sect. Have you seen any saints around? Or anyone going by the books? Going by your idea, those elites would be holed up in their homes. Those are not elites, but wastrels are more like it, or getting in through connections. A fatty in yellow barked, followed by a beanpole and a scholar. 3 fiends of hell. Xiaoyue frowned. This is an inner sect meeting. Why are you here? We heard the motion to dissolve the elite labor office and came to see who the hell is butting in and is against such a great place. It's been ages since the elite area produced anyone decent, and now that we have a good source of seeds, you want to call it off. Who the hell dares? Fiend Yang pointed at the intersex. Oldie's Venerable Sure's mouth perked up in a twisted smile. He signaled the second elder, and he snickered and sighed. Tu Xiao was puzzled. Who told you that? It's all the rage in the elite area. We'd be deaf to not hear it. Fiend Yang fumed. Xiaoyue was curious. The elite area's talking about it? But they only just mentioned it. Noticing Venerable Sure's cold look, Xiaoyue was late to stop him from speaking. Fiend Yang, I proposed it. Representing the High Venerable in managing the inner sect, I must uphold the sect's rules and honor. You might be thirsty for talents, but no laborer shall ever become an elite. If word got out that we did this, then we'll be the laughingstock of the world. They'd say no one's good in our sect. You call this dishonorable? I'll give you real dishonor. Fiend Yang shouted, going to give someone a beating only to be pummeled instead. Dozens went to the last double dragon gathering, yet only 4 came back. That's dishonor when... Fiend Yang began recounting the past. Fiend Gue and Fiend Een were crestfallen every time they heard it. That time was simply horrible. Venerable sure showed a smug look, sending a message to the second elder. I just knew he'd go on and on about pointless history. This should give us 2 hours. Ha ha ha. Brilliant, Venerable sure. With the High Venerable in seclusion and everyone here, there's no one watching the labor office, and those 2 brats can have a blast. Second elder snickered. Venerable Sure's eyes flashed, while Xiaoyue was getting more and more suspicious. What's the old-timer up to? His proposal is useless, so why does he still insist on it? Meanwhile, at the cemetery's most popular attraction, a man and a girl appeared. They looked on with disdain and released a dreadful aura. Is this the elite labor office that has got the whole sect abuzz? It hasn't been here for long, yet it's close to ruining the inner sect. They sure seem rich to be able to do it. A 17-year-old girl mocked them. The handsome guy next to her had an evil smile. Right you are, junior sister Yujuan. They are rich, but dare to fight the inner sect. It's time to teach them some manners and ingrain in their hearts the right place for laborers. Once here, you can never get out. No one here is worthy of becoming an elite, ever. Right. Yu Juan stuck out her chest. Where's their manager? Elites Yu Juan and Chi Feng are here to test you wretched laborers and see if you're worthy of something besides sweeping. The trial takers waiting in line for the doors turned around. No matter how rude and foul the couple was, they were elites of the sect. Steward Zhua didn't lie. He has paved a way for us to reach heaven, out of despair and into a world of glory and promise. The crowd rushed the two with excitement, which only made the couple thicken their disdain. Gui Hu and the rest walked over. Senior brother Chi Feng, it's been a while. I heard the elite area will be coming to pick disciples from us, but didn't know it would be you two and not the three venerables. But the elders and venerables of the labor office are away, and I will have to accommodate you. Please tell me about your choices. Gui Hu, weren't you Grand Elder's prized pupil? What are you doing here? Such a shame. Chi Feng was stunned. Gui Hu waved his hand. Just some minor mistake, and Master threw me here, though calling it a fortunate mistake might be better. Labor office isn't what it used to be. It's filled with opportunities, with now even elites being picked from it. I should make the cut as well, ha ha ha. The couple only had mockery for him. Labor office with opportunities? Don't make me laugh. We'll make sure there won't be any labor office after today. The two's eyes glinted. Chapter 582, Feud. Chapter 582, Feud. As I live and breathe, Pang Yujuan. Tai Ying roared with rage at her sight. Yujuan scoffed. Senior brother Tai Ying, even you ran to the labor office? Well, you are made for this place. Of all the places in this world, this filthy place is the only one to accept someone like you. Pang Yujuan, we all know exactly what happened. Just a fourth layer of radiant stage, yet got into the elite area? It only proves that you were up to something, just like last time. Tai Ying snorted. Yujuan mocked, without a care. My grandpa is the seventh elder. No one will ever mess with me. No inner or outer disciple. Only an ignorant nobody like you. A mere top outer disciple would be dumb enough to mess with me. Yet look where that has gotten you. So you do admit it, you skank. Tai Ying, they're elites, the best of the sect. Try to leave that for later. Gui Hu cut his swearing short. Senior brother Chi Feng, how would you like to test us? Chi Feng grinned. Simple. We'll test your strength personally. Anyone who becomes an elite has to have some power. I'll go first. A tough guy came over excited, but all he got was a round of sighs at his cultivation. What are you doing here with just a fifth layer of profound heaven cultivation? It couldn't get you even to the outer sect. Gui Hu shook his head. Ma Sanpao, are you messing around again? You're no Steward Zhua. Smiley face, the name lit, means dull horsey. Crack! The noise jarred the ears of the others, and the next thing they knew was something red flying over. Ma Sanpao was flung into the ground. Dead. Even as his excitement remained in his eyes, Gui Hu squinted and turned to the source of that Yuan Qi. Chi Feng had a nasty grin while lowering his palm. What? Didn't you used to do the same, Gui Hu? Chi Feng taunted Gui Hu, stood silent, forgetting about him and focusing on his heart. At the sudden rage coming over him, and he clenched his fists, Kuei Lang shouted. Senior brother Chi Feng, how can you be so heavy-handed when you're just here to test us? Humph! What could a rejected labor possibly amount to? Chi Feng patronized. Anyone else up for a test? The disciples flinched back twice, looking at the pair in fear. Are they really here to choose candidates? The two showed boundless ridicule, but no one stepped up, not with how one move killed someone already, not even Kuei Lang's group. These two were definitely here to pick a fight. Yu Juan's twisted smile grew as her shifty eyes roamed the crowd before stopping at Tai Ying. Senior brother Tai Ying, you were such a mighty hero once, the best in the outer sect. So how come you're down here in the labor office? Are you suddenly a chicken too? Where's all that courage gone? Say that again. Tai Ying roared and raised his fists. Bastards, being elites doesn't make you the strongest. I'll fight you even in the profound heaven stage. Taiying, stop with the trash talk, will you? A profound heaven cultivator going against a radiant stage 1? Who are you, Steward Jua? Don't waste your breath. Gui, who shouted over him, while Kuei Lang kept giving him signals not to fall for their taunt. Bro, they're riling you up. Don't let them get to you. Tai-ing grumbled and remained silent. Yu Juan's mockery never ceased to come. Ha ha ha. Senior brother Tai-ing must be so scared of me. Tell you what, since you lost 3 years, I won't use any soul attacks. If you can't even take me on like this, then you're a hopeless coward. Shove it, bitch. No matter if it's 2 stages or 5 layers difference, I'll still take you. Tai-ing roared and clenched his fists. Peng Yujuan, let's do this. Gui, whose sighed Yujuan, and Qi Feng grinned. The dumbass fell for it at last. Under the tense gazes of others, Tai-ing exploded with power as he clawed at Yujuan's throat. She merely giggled and pushed him back with her full cultivation, no matter how much nerve he had. Tai-ing knew 5 layers couldn't just be overcome so easily. The instant their attacks met, he slipped past her palm and grabbed her wrist crack. Yujuan wailed with pain at having it broken. Gui, whose side approved with bobbed heads. That's the top outer disciple for you, well seasoned. The only difference between profound heaven stage and radiant stage was soul power. With that out, Tai-ing might stand a chance. After all, obvious by his current advantage, they didn't get to rejoice, though, as Yujuan's eyes raged with bloodthirst hum. A sudden wave sent Tai-ing flying, his head a mush and blood leaking from everywhere. That skank cheated. She used a soul attack. Kuei Lang flew over to help, but then someone jabbed his chest. Spurting blood, Kuei Lang slammed back down as Qi Feng snickered from above. You're actually dumb enough to believe a radiant stage expert wouldn't use soul attacks? Taking such a retarded bet will never make you elites. Kuei Lang raved. Is this how you choose candidates, by crippling them? Humph, choose candidates? From a bunch of rejected laborers dreaming the impossible? We came here to warn you to stop wasting your breath and know your place. Qi Feng's twisted smirk was ever-present. Yujuan got next to Tai-ing in 2 jumps. Her eyes shone with bloodlust, noticing his damaged soul, and struck his chest. Blood spurted from his mouth because of the heavy pressure. This palm might vary will be the last he'd see on this earth. Yu Ling, though, had a say in this, meeting Yujuan's attack. While the two separated, she took Tai-ing away. Yujuan was annoyed at having her prey slip away, but someone blocked her. I'll do it! Qi Feng flashed before Yu Ling and Tai-ing with a creepy smile and pointed. Profound, ranked martial art, flaming finger. Die. Yu Ling panicked. She had no way of blocking an 8th layer of radiant stage cultivator's attack. Profound, ranked martial art, underworld fiend. Gui, who popped out of nowhere, meeting Qi Feng's attack. Gui, who fell back 10 steps and spat blood, while Qi Feng stood still and taunted. Gui, who? I wasn't your match back then, but I've been elite for a longer time and my power control surpasses yours. Yours is just scattered. Ha ha ha. Crack. The shockwave sent Yu Ling and Tai-ing into the ground, spitting blood. Gui, who glared at him. What do you mean scattered? Ha ha ha. You'll never understand with that heart. Qi Feng mocked. Your savage energy used to scare me, but only in the elite area did I realize the truth. You just don't know how to use it, simply showing it off. Why else do you think I'm having an easy time beating you when you're a layer higher than me? Gui, who gnashed his teeth. The heart again. On account of the Grand Elder, I'll leave you be. But get this straight, it is you who challenged us when we came to merely test you. This isn't on us, but you, if anyone twists it. Qi Feng exploded with bloodthirst, making the other disciples shiver. Qi Feng flicked, and a few heads rolled onto the ground. Everyone nodded in panic. Qi Feng and Yujuan cackled, while Gui, whose side could only stew in anger. And another thing, as laborers, you are the filth of the sect, not worthy of being elites. Try it, and you'll be squashed like a bug. Qi Feng threatened. Everyone lowered their heads, unable to retort, while sect leader wanted laborers to become elites. The elites came over to rob them of their courage. They knew they weren't welcome in the elite area, only surrounded by danger's labors with the lowest rung, and nothing would change that. The inner and outer disciples who came here were gripped by remorse. They got the demonic treasures and pills, but lost a glorious future. A labor was but an ant to an elite. Even if it was an outer disciple in the past, the two took in their despair and grinned savagely before leaving it. Gue, whose side was filled with rage, the elite area and the labor office were at war. Chapter 583. Let him handle it. Chapter 583. Let him handle it. And that's how we four went through hell and untold hardships before escaping with our lives. The grand hall echoed with Fiend Yang's pained voice, his eyes flickering with fear. And to prevent such disaster from ever happening again, as elders and venerables of Demon's scheming sect, it is our duty and responsibility to raise a true figure to carry out the sect's burdens, to avoid needless casualties, and to grow geniuses. Fiend Yang's speech had passion, had feelings, touching Xia Weiwei and Fiend Yin to the core, while the rest were just bored and nodding off. Not just Venerable Shi's faction, but even Venerable Bai's group was stiff with their eyelids twitching. Who could blame them? No matter how great a story, at least keep it short, not drone on for hours. The only reason Xia Weiwei accepted it is because he was there in the last Double Dragon gathering. But we, old guys, have nothing to do with it. Of course, we'd grow tired of your prattle. Looking outside, for God's sake, it's evening already. Just how long will this tub of lard drag it on? Till morning? Venerable Shi had his limits as well, and turned to the second elder. That ought to do it. Time to go. Yep, let's run for it. Venerable Shi is brilliant. Second elder said excited. The two must have finished their job by now, and I don't want to hear one more word out of this guy if I can help it. You're not the only one. Venerable Shi shouted. Fiend Yang, please hold on for a moment. I understand everything. Since this proposal has such great opposition, we will put a pin in it. Seeing as it's so late already, let us resume on another day. Venerable Shi is right. We might argue for days here. It'd be best to do our own search before we convene again. Someone already had his back, and not just his faction, but Venerable Bai's side too. All of them were praising him to high heaven. Ugh. Fiend Yang's chubby face twitched and sank. Why is it always like this? I never even get to make half my point. Ha ha ha, we understand Fiend Yang's feelings, and he needn't explain it. Hearing Fiend Yang's retelling felt like reading for 10 years. Venerable Shi laughed with a straight face. Sect leader, forgive my crassness today, and if there's nothing else, let us end the meeting here and discuss the labor office's fate another day. Xia Weiwei eyed him, unable to see through his thinking. That we shall. But don't go ringing the bell as you wish. Calling a meeting is the right of the sect leader. Yes, I will forever remember it. Venerable Shi knew Xia Weiwei was just throwing his weight around, and simply nodded. He and his gang left in a hurry, leaving Xia Weiwei unnerved for some reason alone with his allies. Venerable Bai mocked. Seeing Venerable Shi so slumped feels so good. Ha ha ha. It's all thanks to Fiend Yang's dawdle until the old fart couldn't take it. Fiend Yin chuckled and patted Fiend Yang's shoulder. Fiend Yang's face twitched. When did I dawdle? I am a smooth operator, mind you. He was clearly in the wrong, and our mighty righteousness shook some sense into him. And I have many, many more lessons to share. I can share them with you if... Oh, no, no, no. It's best if you tell the old fart. Our ears are clogged enough for today. We could never endure any more of your ceaseless drivel. Fiend Gue stopped Fiend Yang before he got into it again. The others agreed at once. Doing anything they could to stop the fatty's mouth from opening, the fatty was crestfallen. Can't anyone feel my undying righteous devotion? Xia Weiwei's frown never left him. Strange. What was Venerable Shi up to today? He was not his usual scheming self. Maybe he just came to flaunt his might to try and stop us. But look at him, losing it all, ah. Fiend Yang mocked. The others nodded without a care. Venerable Bai said, The old fart must still think of himself as the boss of the inner sect. Look at him now, ha ha ha. While the others jeered at another's expense like winners, someone entered the hall and bowed. Labor Yuling requests to see sect leader and master. What is up with this girl? Venerable by turn to Xia Wuyue asked, enter. Yuling rushed deeper and bowed. Sect leader, master. Elites caused a scene at the labor office, killing and hurting many. They warned us to not set foot in the elite area, or we'll suffer for it. What? They all cried out the elites and labor office had never once intersected. Yet they suddenly went there. Fiend Yang stomped. Who's the punk with such gall to kill laborers? Has he no care for the rules? Venerable sirs, it's Qi Feng and Yu Juan. Yu Ling reported all had a realization written on their faces. Yu Juan was the 7th elder's granddaughter, while Qi Feng was 2nd elders. They were on Venerable Shi's side and doing his bidding Xia Wui's side. A great diversion. Using the time High Venerable was in seclusion, and we were in the meeting, he had the labor office and elites become bitter enemies. Choosing candidates from the labor office will be much harder now. The inner sect has the advantage. Humph, they can choose all they want. Last I heard, it's us 3 leading the elites area. Fiend Yang stuck out his folds. Fiend Gui shook his head. We can't interfere. And now, there's the problem if laborers even want to become elites. Everyone has their pride, and after such humiliation, they'd be hard-pressed to still want to become elites. That will leave many crawling out of the woodworks to take those spots. We might not have even one labor willing. They played us. Blast it all to hell. The punks ruined my great plan. I'm going to set them real straight. Fiend Yang flared his nostrils, walking away to dole out punishment. Xiaoe called out, no point. They'd be sure to have a good reason for doing it. Right. What's their excuse for messing with labor office? Sect leader, they represented the elite area in testing disciples' level. Using the disciples challenging them as an excuse, they slaughtered many. Yu Ling reported. Xia Wuiyu nodded. With no third party around, no matter what we say, they'll just twist it in their favor. And with Venerable Shi at their backs, it will only do us harm instead. Our only flaw is that they came to test the disciples as representatives of the elite area. Did you 3 tell them anything of the sort? Xia Wuiyu turned to the fiends to find them shaking their heads. All except the yellow fatty, choosing to look anywhere else but at him. I knew it was weird, and now they had a good excuse. Xia Wuiyu shook his head. Fiend Yang and Fiend Gui raised an eyebrow, and sect leader asked, what did you tell them? Nothing. Just Yu Juan was whining about how she wanted to represent us in testing the elite candidates and fulfill her duty as senior sister. I thought she was only playing around and agreed. Dumbass. Everyone sighed. Fiend Een turned solemn. With the labor office and elite area entangled, we can't touch the 2. How do we go about solving this mess? Where's Shuo Fan? Why wasn't he around? Xia Wuiyu asked Venerable by bowed. He was in a rush to handle some matters and hasn't been seen in days. Then let him handle it when he gets back. He's better at twisting the rules than Venerable Shi ever could. Xia Wuiyu snickered and left the others puzzled. No matter how big of a genius Shuo Fan was, he was but a disciple. He can do what we can't. They weren't just any elites, but the elites of some old-timers. Chapter 584, Emergence. Chapter 584, Emergence. The silent cave was a mess. Shuo Fan was still sitting on the hard stone floor, his face no longer contorted with pain. After a bitter fight to the death against the 9th Heaven Dragon power, it ended in Shuo Fan's favor. Taming all its savagery in this prolonged battle, Shuo Fan's soul was compressing now, bit by bit, with the dragon power roaming at its center in the form of a dragon. On the cusp of fusion, the fusion progressed, as a hazy fog covered his soul and the compression continued hum. Then the hazy fog broke with the dazzling light coming from within and unleashing a strong force, making Shuo Fan's soul bathe in the light after his soul got covered by the 5 colored lights. Shuo Fan's mind was still as grave as earlier. Shuo Fan himself was sitting there like a statue roar. But then draconic roars came from within his mind, from within the colored light, followed by 4 claws and a 1,000-meter-long dragon, the prismatic light, stuck to its body, forming its scales. Its mighty visage instilled power and dignity. Zhuofan opened his now draconic eyes and unleashed a howl at the sky. The mighty dragon power pulverized anything it touched, shaking even impermanence, Five's barrier, and with it, the elders themselves. Elder, she spoke for everyone when he relayed his shock. The power of the Heaven Dragon soul is so amazing even as it has just formed. The only reason Vicissitude's barrier still stands is because Sir lends the Earth Dragon soul. The kid is a true gem. Haha, true. It's my first time seeing the Heaven Dragon soul as well, and I must say, it truly is one mighty force. Elder Yuan nodded. Zhuofan calmed down after that. Feeling out the changes in him, his eyes wandered about the wrecked cave as the dazzling dragon soul turned them into draconic eyes. It only went to show that the fusion was a smashing success, and Zhuofan had remained himself. The dragon's soul fused with his soul and took its form, so even if his body would be crushed, plastered, or pulverized, his soul would just fly away to steal another body. The soul ability of ethereal stage. Speaking of soul power, he had left radiant stage way behind him. It was like giving his soul an armor. But a radiant stage against an ethereal stage was like a 3-year-old against a 7-foot tower of muscle, though in Zhuofan's case, it'd be like a tower of muscle inside a 3-year-old destined to give one some nasty surprises. Death included, first layer of radiant stage and first layer of ethereal soul. I'm an abomination in the truest sense. Zhuofan chuckled. Not even he fathomed that this advancement would bring about such bizarre changes then again. Since he wasn't exactly an orthodox cultivator, it was a given hum. The space rippled and a red glow came out from his dantian. The bloody glow shone everywhere and rotted anything it touched faltering. Zhuofan entered meditation at once, only to find his blood infant was in the radiant stage. 2 blood infant was a spirit of this world, and in the radiant stage it had a dreadful soul power, exponentially better than your average expert. It could even turn into a blood blade, rending an ethereal stage expert soul into nothing. Blood infant became more and more horrifying as it grew in cultivation. It was this sole reason that made Saint Patriarch Blood Demon such an awesome figure in the sacred domain. This surprise filled him with confidence in fighting an ethereal stage expert with dragon soul by his side and the blood infant sneaking in a few hits. Who could touch him? Elder Yuan made a sign, and the earth dragon's soul returned to him. He held his beard while chuckling. Now that the heaven dragon's soul has taken form, all is settled. Release the barrier. Yes, sir. The 5 bowed, but the flash of red beat them to it, slamming into the barrier and staggering them. Ugh. Shaking, Elder she groaned and earned Elder Yuan's odd gaze. What's wrong? The punk made a soul attack and took us by surprise. Elder she's face was twisted in horror. Elder Yuan shook his head. It's fine. He was just testing out Heaven Dragon Soul's power. That's not it. Elder, she continued. The first wave was indeed the Heaven Dragon Soul's might, but the second one was filled with malice and darkness. It's like 2 opposite souls. Say what? Elder Yuan frowned, deep in thought. Does that mean the kid is hiding more secrets? Boom! A huge noise came from the cave and shook the impermanence 5 into stepping back 5 times. Each of these elders showed their surprise in an odd way. Elder Yuan asked, "What is it this time?" Elder, she needed a long time to gather his wits. The kid broke our barrier. Elder Yuan was flabbergasted. How? These 5 were 4th layer ethereal stage experts that combined could handle a 6th layer expert. How did it come to having their barrier popped like a balloon? Heaven Dragon Soul was strong and all, but not that outrageous. Just what kind of secrets are you still hiding, kid? Elder Yuan sighed, unaware that Zhuofan was stumped as he was by the effect. The place where he was had long since stopped being a cave 100 meters around him. There was not a single thing. Everything had turned to dust the instant it got in range. Divine Eye of the Void's 4th stage, Absolute Domain, Space Crusher. Zhuo Fan's right eye had for golden halos flashing. He not only got a heaven dragon soul, his blood infant was upgraded, now having an unheard of soul power, and even his divine eye of the void got an upgrade. It was a universal move, perfect for when one was in danger, annihilating everything within 100 meters with intense vibrations he'd kill, without leaving anything behind, no matter what armies were sent for him. Nothing could touch him. Heavenly Emperor's power lived up to the legend. Zhuo Fan grinned, and his confidence soared in having one more ace to deal with experts. With his safety guaranteed, he'd have no fear left it even tore through the barrier just now in this 100-meter area. He was the king, god even. All emperor-level arts are mystical and godlike. Ha ha ha. Cackling inside, Zhuo Fan strutted out. When he had arrived, it was a perfectly neat cave, and now it was an odd hole, as everything within was turned to dust. Chapter 585, Fury. Chapter 585, Fury. Steward Zhuo, you're finally out, ha ha ha. Congratulations on your smooth advancement. Elder Yuan popped out of nowhere and cupped his hands. Zhuo Fan merely nodded. All thanks to you for giving me such a great place. It would have been a pain anywhere else. Ah. Elder Yuan smiled. Steward Zhuo, don't you want to know what happened these days? Like the barrier? With your wisdom, you should already have some guesses. Yeah, I have. What about it? Don't you care? No, should I? Zhuo Fan spoke. Elder Yuan was dumbstruck, then shook his head. Here, I thought the first thing you'd do was to have me over a barrel over this. I even had an excuse ready. Sigh, now all that work has gone to waste. Ha ha ha, I thought as much. What's the point of asking if I don't get the truth? Zhuo Fan laughed. Elder Yuan, to be honest, my greatest gain in the demon scheming sect was meeting you. Expounding with Sir on the nature of the world has opened my eyes more than my entire life, especially about human nature's 4 realms. Which 4? Elder Yuan was interested. Zhuo Fan smiled. The first, ignorance, it is walking about aimlessly. Second, aware of oneself but not of one's place, defined by misplaced overconfidence and conceit. Third, knowing oneself and their place, allowing one to pierce anything, but their hearts are filled with pain. Fourth, knowing the wise, opening one's eyes and clearing the fog within. Elder Yuan nodded. Zhuo Fan continued. Elder Yuan, I've been stuck at the 3rd realm with a sharp eyesight, yet a heavy heart. I bore the whole world on my shoulders, fearing any misstep and holding myself back. But now that I'm in the 4th realm, who you are and where I am has lost its meaning. All that matters is your kind intentions. I don't even feel like knowing who those experts were that set the barrier, or I'd be required to pay them an immense favor. Not knowing means not paying back, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, quite an idealist you are. Elder Yuan shook his head. Zhuo Fan, your mind is sharp and devious. You might look at things with a casual glance, but all of these are just tricks, of no use to the world as a whole. While peering into human condition, walking the path to the truth, that is the greatest wisdom of all. Steward Zhuo, you have finally ventured down this path, getting closer to the Tao. Your future is limitless. That's if Sir will keep on helping me. Of course, you are the hope of demon scheming sect. I will always have your back. Elder Yuan's eyes shone the old, and the young fellows grew closer in these rare moments, even as each of them had tons of secrets. At least they were frank with each other. An hour passed, and the two returned to the elite labor office at the cemetery, but the scene left Zhuo Fan dazed. Why are there just a handful of testers at the doors? It's been just a few days, and the trend has already changed? He'd be hard-pressed to topple the inner sect. Now Zhuo Fan turned to see Elder Yuan mimic his surprise while Zhuo Fan was in seclusion. The old guy had looked after him, and no one knew of the elite's trip down to the labor office Kuei gang, and where rushed over in joy. Master, you're back! What the hell happened? It's only been a few days, so why is this place deserted? Zhuo Fan frowned. The two sighed and explained how the elites wiped the floor with them. Kuei gang gnashed his teeth. I and Yuer weren't here either, or he'd never touch my father. I will. You will what? You'll only throw your life away. Don't think for a second that a set of 9th-grade demonic treasures can fight an 8th-layer radiant stage expert. Who is stronger or weaker comes down to one's own power in the end. Zhuo Fan sighed, teaching his disciple to shed his overconfidence. Despite his own eyes flashing with killing intent, Yuer lamented. Master, the laborer's dignity has taken a heavy blow, with some outer and inner disciples even slumping into remorse for coming here. Naturally, after being trampled like that, they'd never get the nerve to meet them until they can settle the grudge. Zhuo Fan squinted and pondered. Listen up and listen well. Invite the 3 elite area's venerables for an apology banquet. Yuer asked curiously, apology for what? Didn't our disciple challenge them with a heavy hand? Of course, we have to make amends. To show my sincerity, I will even present them the demonic treasures they asked for everyone to see. Both sides will be at peace. Oh, and the labor office's venerables and elders must come as well, or the elite spots for the labor office will be fewer. They came here to pick a fight, and now we're inviting them for a drink. Kuei Gang was fuming. We are no longer the labor office they once knew. All inner disciples look at us with admiration. Why should we play the victim? Zhuo Fan snorted and pointed at the ignorant kid, while telling Elder Yuan, see that? The second realm of human nature, knows himself but nothing else, arrogant beyond reason. Elder Yuan nodded with a chuckle. Kuei Gang was baffled. What are you standing around for? Get on with it. Am I the manager here, or you? Zhuo Fan eyed him coldly, grumbling inside. He obeyed his master's order, cupping his hands and huffing away with an equally unwilling Elder Yuan chuckled. Steward Zhuo, well, I did say you just stepped on the road to Dao. You're still up to your old tricks. The banquet is destined to run red. Humph! All that wisdom only works for myself, while petty tricks are left for these swines. I kept my head down so far so that no ethereal stage expert came knocking. But now I don't give a rat's ass. Anyone that pushes me will find himself 6 feet under. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed, and he boiled with a bloodthirst so thick the few disciples around the door shivered and were knocked out cold. Elder Yuan nodded. This was where Guei Hu and Zhuo Fan differed. The former's power was scattered, his mighty savage energy not used to its full potential, and left many openings, while the latter never gave off a whiff of bloodlust, like an average Joe, a pushover. But push him hard enough, and all that fire inside would explode like an unstoppable flood. I finally see you angry. That means you still care about something. Ha ha ha, go wild, knock yourself out. I'm behind you all the way. Elder Yuan smiled. Meanwhile, 3 fiends of hell and the sect leader were discussing how to handle the 2 problem disciples. With 2nd Elder and 7th Elder behind them and Venerable Sure on their side, they had no good excuse to use, but without putting these bastards in their place, how could the elite selection from the labor office could go on? While they were racking their brains, Kuei Gang stepped in with Zhuo Fan's invitation. The 4 were dumbstruck for a second there. What apology? What is he up to? We've been on his side all this time, and yet he is wimping out, going for some apology banquet? Fiend Yang asked. Fiend Ian ventured. Is he trying to appease both sides? It still doesn't mean you have to be so meek. He'll turn into a joke for the inner sect. Slapping the table, Fiend Yang said, I thought he was a genius, only to find him garbage. What good is strength when you can't use it? Xia Weiwei squinted and smiled. I know his style. He must be up to something. He'll hold an apology banquet for your sake. Just let him have it and play along. And he wants to do is give demonic treasures. Oh, and don't forget about my share. Take along the 2nd Elder and 7th Elder as well. Since it's an apology banquet, we can't have the party's grandpas missing now, do we? Ha! The 3 fiends were stumped at his laughter, with Fiend Yang saying, What's with you? Do you really want to ease the tension? How are we supposed to handle those brats after this? Handle what when amends are made? Ha ha ha, now leave this matter be. I'm just curious how the kid is going to end it. Hope I won't have to step in. Xia Wui's eyes flashed. Chapter 586, Apology Banquet. Chapter 586, Apology Banquet. A secluded valley was shocked awake from its peaceful mood as an endless line of people went in carrying large trays filled with exotic dishes made of exquisite beasts like a work of art well sure. Cultivators were above the secular world, overcoming the human condition and its limitations, but they still had manners. Like joining friends and kin alike for a joyous or saddening occasion, they'd find joy within the joy, and fight sadness with closeness, yet the people coming and going with trays wore depressed looks and plain clothes. Thinking the feast would blow up, Gui, Hu, Kue Lang, Tai Ying, and Yuling sat glum at the first table. With such a scary look, even the waiters avoided them, lest their oppressive aura stiffen them or scared them to the core crack. Kue Lang punched the table. For God's sakes, has Steward Jua lost it? They're the ones in the wrong, yet we're making amends? This is outrageous. No matter how much compromise I've made in my life, I'd never stoop so low. Yuling huffed. Tai Ying shook his head. Why are you here then? Get off your ass and scram. And how exactly can we do that when it's Steward Jua's feast? We have to show our respect for all he's done for us. Kue Lang grumbled under his breath, then swore. I'm damn curious, though. Why are you here? You're both big shot outer and inner disciples. I can't believe you're taking it so well with your styles. Those two have those elders behind them, and we can't even touch them, and now we're even saying sorry. Are you that eager to shame yourself? Tai Ying squinted and restrained his anger. I'm here for Steward Jua as well. Chi Fang's last strike left my core on the verge of being crushed, and I would have become a waste. It's with Steward Jua's help that I made a recovery and even entered the radiant stage. This is the least I can do. The heaven-reaching pill. Kue Lang gasped. Such a mystical pill. It saved my son and Yuling's sister like nothing. Steward Jua is divine to save the forsaken. I don't think there's any elder or venerable in the sect capable of what he has done. Yet today, Kue Lang shook his head in sadness, following with, Senior Brother Gui Hu, why are you here then? Jua Fan said I can follow him anywhere, so listening to him is basic. Gui Hu spoke unconcerned. The others smiled. They'd gotten to know each other after so many days hanging around, each having their own reasons for sticking with Jua Fan. Kue Lang and Yu Ling did it to return the favor, and in no small part because they felt he had the better offer for a brighter future. Tai Ying was here to get his revenge from 3 years ago by helping Jua Fan crush the inner sect. Getting the meat out of the oldie's mouth was the best way to do it, and sure enough, the inner sect was forced into action, sending their grandchildren to make a mess of things. From this rotten and dishonorable move, it was clear that their meat wasn't the only thing stolen, but their whole plate too. Tai Ying might be outraged by this feast, but was quite happy overall. The magnate Jua Fan had achieved the impossible, making the inner sect, that had withstood for thousands of years, wobble, while the simplest of the four, Gui Hu, was part of the winning crowd through his master, Grand Elder, but chose to stick with Jua Fan for one simple reason. To sharpen himself, his master warned him that only by following a resolute person could he improve his own heart. Which, funnily enough, the sect lacked very much. Dad, keep it together, those guys are coming in. Besides the elders and venerables, there are also outer and inner disciples. You all need to get a hold of yourself and not fall for their taunts. Kue Gang and Yuer came over with a sullen look and a warning. Kue Lang squinted and snapped. This is too damn much. Those old coots must have called them to make us look bad. That's the least of our problems. They're surely up to something vile, to shame us and force our hand. They're looking for any excuse to get rid of us, like how they sent those 2 elites for us. Yu Ling warned with a glint in her eyes. Ganger is right. We must keep calm. Kue Lang snorted in anger and sat back down while the other 2 nodded. Venerable Bai watched the 4 of them with a sigh as he said to Venerable Qi, What's the point of all this? Jua Fan pulled the carpet from under the inner sect with a well-placed trick, attracting the disciples with heaps of resources. But now, The other side has used disciples to crush the labor office's dignity, and holding a feast now will only make it worse for them. Sect leader said Juefan is a mastermind, so why would he make this dumb move? I'd have clobbered him by now if not for sect leader's order. Seeing the obvious smugness on the oldies filling in at their expense and the glum labor office's oldies, Venerable Chi couldn't tell if he had made the right choice or not. The crew goes down with the ship. The punk no longer wants to mess with the inner sect, and now he even wants to apologize. Everyone's heart burned with rage, but they had no place to vent Venerable Chi's side. They're all forced to come by sect leader's orders. No one here is interested in shaming themselves for that brat. Venerable by side. Meanwhile, in Venerable Shi's cozy home, second elder and seventh elder wore fancy new threads, matching their cocky grin. Venerable Shi, shall we go tug at her? Second elder laughed. Venerable Shi smiled. You two are the stars of today's show. I could never take your spotlight. Venerable Shi is too kind. With you being the leader of inner sect, how can it not include you? Ha ha ha, it's fine. How can I attend it if sect leader isn't there either? Won't I be called out as picking on the weak? Venerable Shi grinned. Seventh elder pondered and laughed. Getting Venerable Shi to help us in this show will be giving them too much honor. Come, the two of us are more than enough. Venerable Shi nodded, agreeing with seventh elder's idea. They're not good enough to make me appear. Second elder exclaimed, Right, we can't let them get smug by any means. But to think they'd come up with an apology banquet. I still thought we were in a deadlock with the labor office. Seventh elder said. Venerable Shi chuckled. It's out of my predictions as well, but it makes sense. Juefan is a wise and sharp kid and is only doing this for Xia Wuyue's sake. With Xia Wuyue unable to help, all problems land on him. With the labor office being Xia Wuyue's grand plan, if it goes belly up, he'll take the fall. Being under so much pressure forced him to reassess the situation and show his goodwill to us. Even apologize. We shouldn't mock him for reaching out. But even if we do, he'd be smiling harder, making us smack him harder still. Ha ha ha, second elder mocked. The other two joined. Venerable Shi nodded. Exactly, does he really think we're just going to give up after a little chat? Humph, we're going to come on him so hard there'll be nothing left of him or the elite labor office. And he brought this upon himself too. Venerable Shi, we will definitely make the punk have no dignity to speak of after this. He might even commit suicide, ha ha ha. The two snickered on their way to the banquet. Venerable Shi's crafty grin only grew and grew. Chapter 587, Elite Strife. Chapter 587, Elite Strife. In a quaint pavilion, a girl was pacing around bored and kicked the water. When the boredom got the best of her, it was none other than one of the culprits that had wrecked the labor office. Pang Yujuan Fiendyang chewed her out the instant he got back, though he couldn't do much else. Not with a good excuse in place and the elders on their backs, a mere slap on the wrist, the fiends didn't want to blow out and refrained from being harsher, only putting them on house arrest. In Yujuan's case, she was so bored that she had nothing better to do than to kick water. Junior sister Yujuan is so refined and elegant as she plays in the water. Yujuan paused mid-kick and mocked. What else is there to do? While I am stuck at home for so long, it's either this or go stir crazy. With a snicker, Chi Feng walked over and whispered in her ear. She perked up in an instant. You really brought your grandpa's halberd. Grandpa gave it to me. He figured the 3 old coots will do something like this, and gave me the 7th grade demonic treasure. And this heaven piercer can crush any barrier. The old coots might have set one up around the elite area, but we can now just walk out of it. Chi Feng raised a smug eyebrow. Yujuan was giddy, jumping all over. What are we waiting for? Let's blow this barrier open and go have some real fun. Hey, junior sister, I'm not done talking yet. Why the rush? Chi Feng cut her enthusiasm by holding her back. As his eyes glinted, he laughed at her perplexity. Junior sister, we're not out on a stroll. Grandpa gave me the heaven piercer and a mission. It's not just to get out of this boredom, but to do something as well. What? Tell me. You know we're like two peas in a pod. Your problem is my problem. She hit her chest with pride. Chi Feng nodded and smiled. Nothing hard, just go wilder this time. Do you know why the old coots have gotten us stuck here? Or why they've forbidden elites from leaving the area? Why? Batting her big eyes, Yu Juan asked. Engrossed, Chi Feng grinned. You wouldn't believe even if I told you. After we messed up the labor office, they're now holding an apology banquet. Our two grandpas and the old coots represent us in accepting the apology. If we go as well, we'd be sure to humiliate and taunt them until they can't hold it in. That will give our grandpas the excuse to crush the labor office. But the old coots want to avoid it at all costs. Really? Yu Juan laughed after a moment. Who the hell is that spineless elder or venerable running labor office anyway? He got smacked around the first time, and now he turns the other cheek forward. There's no way such a guy can match the intersex venerables and elders employs. Hi. Chi Feng nodded. I heard the one leading the labor office is just a disciple. No elder or venerable would just bend a knee like this. And the guy is even sect leader's aide, forcing the others to listen to him. But I bet that after this stunt, none of them will ever give him any attention. Aide? Hi. He only cares about elites, yet he trusted this important task to someone out of his circle? No way a disciple can match the elders and venerables, and now look at him, bowing down to apologize. Yu Juan giggled with a naughty glint in her eyes. Then she grabbed Chi Feng and ran outside. What are we waiting for? We have a job to do. I'm dying to see which cowardly disciple thought himself so high and mighty and now is about to get a beating. Chi Feng smiled along, a fool without a doubt. He must have got sect leaders' favor to lead this job, and now he's in a sorry state from botching the job. All he can do is give up, ha. Yu Juan giggled as the two went for the barrier whoosh. Just then, a white ribbon shot for their heads. They panicked and barely dodged it. The ribbon slammed into a cliff like a sword, right as a gentle lady floated down on it. Her smile was bright, but her eyes were deadly cold. The elite area is sealed. No one can get in or out, especially you two brats. Did you forget already? Oh, it's Senior Sister Bai Lian. And here I thought it's someone important. Yu Juan mocked. Just like how venerable Bai can't handle our grandpas, neither can you touch us. Bai Lian said, Grandfather may be a venerable and displeased with some people, but it has nothing to do with me. I have not come here to settle grudges, but to uphold the rules. Cool. Chi Feng gave his thumbs up. I do admire Senior Sister's civic duty. It's why I like you, but it's best that you turn a blind eye today. We're of the same cultivation, and Yu Juan is in the 4th layer radiant stage. With 2-on-1, Senior Sister can't handle us both. Well, aren't you confident? Her smooth eyebrow arched in a taunt. Chi Feng, you've not once beaten me. When did you get so cocky? Ha. Chi Feng laughed. Senior Sister, that is because of my endless and undeniable admiration for you. But now that I have a job to do, I can't go easy on you anymore. So you mean you've always held back? Why else? You think some broad like you can ever match me? Chi Feng sneered. Bai Lian nodded. Then let me see what you're really made of. Bai Lian shot for the two as the white ribbon flew in her hand. The massive Yuan Chi made the couple tense up and dodge away. Boom. What was left behind was a dozens of meter deep crater ruining the place. Chi Feng was startled while Yu Juan paled. He could put up a tough front all he wanted, but he knew fully well that Bai Lian was as strong as him, even though he never went all out against her till now. He knew that even if he did that, victory wasn't certain. Choosing instead to bide his time for the right moment to finish her off, he never thought that time would be now. Firestorm. Seeing the hundreds of ribbons coming at them again, Chi Feng swiped with his 2 fingers, and a fire sea exploded forward. Yu Juan got to work as well, holding her palms together and unleashing a tornado into the fire sea to amplify its power. While weaker, the two made for a good match in skills and increased Chi Feng's move's power by 40%. Moon's wind embrace. Yu Juan shouted again at this point. Bai Lian turned serious. The hundreds of ribbons shot like meteors, absorbing the fire and wind, then smashing into the couple meteor shower. Feeling that great power upon them, the two were startled. Even women were capable of incredible feats, but then a cool breeze made the meteors fizzle out before they could hit them. Ending up slumping on the ground, the grass withered and the earth turned black. Chapter 588. True Intent. Chapter 588. True Intent. Acid rain, Lucia! Bai Lian shouted. A laughter came. Junior sister Bai Lian, let's all take it easy so we might meet again. The two juniors are only going out to get some fresh air. What's the harm in that? Whoosh! A youth in green floated down, his smile twisted, and his power making even Bai Lian falter back 5 steps. He got even stronger. Bai Lian, squinted Chi Feng, was overjoyed. Senior brother Lucia, you're out of seclusion. What great timing. Ha ha ha, I've been out for a while now, and I'm only here now to help. Lucia snickered. You do your job, and I'll handle mine. And that's to get you out of here. Chi Feng bobbed his head. Ha ha ha. Senior brother Lucia is Venerable Shi's prized pupil. We're on the same side. Lucia nodded and turned to the frosty Bai Lian. Junior sister, with me in the 9th layer of Radiant Stage, and you being in the 8th, there's no way you can win. I am not one to be lenient in my attacks, but out of respect for Venerable Bai, I hope you won't fight me and will let them go. Well, each one of them had a big shot behind them. Neither wanted to take things too far. As disciples, incurring the wrath of an elder or venerable, even when under sect leaders' protection, they would still suffer the consequences the sect's rule, stating they couldn't kill disciples, might protect them if they went after some nobody disciples, while killing the precious kin of some elder would leave them with no place to hide. All that was left to do against a madman bent on taking you down with him was to give in and die. That being said, while all elites were savages and cruel, they knew when to stop. Like now, for instance, Lucia had Venerable Shi behind him, but killing Venerable Bai's granddaughter would render Venerable Shi's protection useless. Bai Lian took a deep breath and shouted, Lucia, the 3 venerables have asked us to patrol the barrier and stop anyone who exits it. You know me well enough to know that I'm not going to stop just because of a few words. Ha ha ha, true. Lucia chuckled. I'd have let this one go if it were any other time, but oh well. Lucia's eyes hardened, and he shot a green whirlwind at Bai Lian. The pressure took her breath away. Even more so when the acid within could even melt her bones. The caustic scent spread its foul odor everywhere. Bai Lian faltered 3 steps. Coming to an impasse, she knew Lucia was going easy, or he'd be striking with something she couldn't cope with. Without even giving her a chance to breathe, Lucia wanted her to get lost. If you can't even stop this, scram. Bai Lian felt even more morose. Just this first strike showed the gap between their levels. Lucia snickered at her difficultly. The mockery enraging Bai Lian. Lucia, your arrival won't change a thing. The shout announced the arrival of a yellow light shooting from the ground, meeting the green whirlwind and scattering it, earth canopy. Crack! Lucia was pushed 2 steps back with a dark face whoosh. A youth in gray with sharp features, blue eyes, pointy nose and thick lips, as well as large ears, stood next to Bai Lian. The mood of the other 3 sank. Lucia gnashed his teeth. Chi Changlong, you're out too? Just in time too. Who else can stop your murderous tendencies? Lucia. Chi Changlong snorted and barked at the pair. You too. I know what you've done, and Fiend Een warned me that you'll be up to something. You won't get to touch Labor Office again. Big words for someone who's alone. You can't stop all of us. Lucia glared. Chi Changlong, it's time for me to take that best elite title from you here and now. Chi Changlong mocked. Lucia, you've been after it for a while now. A shame you'll never have it. We'll know after we fight. You're no match for me after my seclusion. I will take that best elite title, and after the Double Dragon Gathering, I'll become the sect leader's successor. Go ahead and try. Chi Changlong snorted. The two were at odds. ready to come to blows at any second Qifeng, and Yujuan tensed. This was a fight to settle the next sect leader. Lu Xia was always one step short of beating Qi Changlong, but had always worked hard to overcome this small gap. The two ended up as Lu Xia supporters. Give him hell, senior brother. Then they thought better of it. Wait, we gotta go humiliate laborers, not join this bustle. Senior brother Lu Xia, maybe you should first figure out how to get us out. Qifeng began. A loud bang, cutting him off, was the answer for him as the barrier above them shook and broke. As the bright sun's rays shined on the 5 elites, eyes twitching, the 5's hostility ceased right away. Someone broke the barrier. Whoosh! A thin figure came over while they were still out of it. Pardon me, but could you point me in the direction of Qifeng and Peng Yujuan? After another round of eye twitching, they looked at the sloppy guy in shabby clothes, carrying a broom and smiling kindly. Who are you? Bai Lian sized him up, but all she got was a first-layer Radiant Stages vibes, and that made her relax. The guy scratched his nose. Ha ha ha, where are my manners? I am the boss of Labor Office, Zhuo Fan. You can just call me the coolest, best labor the demon-scheming sect has ever seen. Steward Zhuo. We're holding an apology banquet, you know, with 7th and 2nd elders already present. How can we miss the stars of the show, Qifeng and Yujuan? Ha ha ha. The feast will never achieve its height without them. So you're that rotten waste Zhuo Fan. Did you not get your face slapped hard enough that you thought to turn the other cheek forward? Yujuan mocked. The guiding venerables feared that we'll make a scene at the banquet and had us stuck here. Yet you punk have just waltzed in. Ha ha ha, you've come right into my lap. You've really opened my eyes as well. Qifeng pipped and Zhuo Fan smiled back. I take it that you're the 2 brats. And what if we are? Are you going to bang your head and beg yours truly to go to that dump again and smack you some more? Peng Yujuan, snickered. Qifeng laughed alongside her. Zhuo Fan grinned. Oh, you've understood it all wrong. This apology banquet is for 2nd and 7th elders in particular. Ain't that the same? They're our grandpas, and we're the main stars here. Yujuan stuck her chin out. Zhuo Fan shook his head with a smile. Oh, no. You've completely misunderstood me. We're apologizing to the elders alone, because, you know, their precious grandchildren are about to die at my hand. Zhuo Fan's eyes took on a savage glint. His face hardened as he looked at his prey with a grin.